You are listening to the Children of Film podcast.
We're a 1.5 hour long dick joke.
Fuck.
Holy shit, guys. Welcome back to podcast 31. This is the Children of Film. We are the Children of Film. I'm Jaron. My co-host Jacob is right here with me. And we are still reeling off Avengers Infinity War. We're trying to get this out as soon as possible, just to get our thoughts straight out there, and we have a lot of them.
I was saying your intro is very zen. I'm not zen. I'm not zen at all.
I'm trying to remain zen so I don't give away my feelings for the movie. But
you're about to listen to what is either the best or the worst Children of Film podcast of all time. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I just pretty much came home from the theater like an hour ago. I haven't really dug into it at all. We haven't even really discussed the film with each other. We've discussed
we haven't.
Brief little tidbits, but nothing major. So we're going to get stuck into
surprise
that.
Each
You're
other
going to hear
opinions
our first conversation with each other about Infinity War, so that'll be interesting. Which
is how most podcasts do their things, but we're not professional, so
he's already seen it twice.
Yeah, I just got back from the cinema an hour ago
for the second.
But that was my second,
and he's already got tickets booked for 2 more times. Now, don't read into that as to his thoughts on the film, because he booked them like a week ago.
I bought them in advance. Well, no, I bought the ones for today. One 5 weeks ago and one 4 weeks ago.
So this is probably going to be a bit of a mess, but I'm actually really excited to get stuck into this.
Yeah, let's talk about our thoughts. First, we'll go to Diary Display. If you don't know, the Diary Display is where we go through the movies that we watch every week, just to ease you into the conversation about movies. And yes, Jacob, I'm still doing this because who knows? Well, this is probably someone's. Although to be fair, everyone's probably skipping this bit to go straight to Infinity War.
We're just sort of got to build anticipation, build a rapport with each other.
But most people will be skipping this.
So, Jaron, what films have you watched in the past week or so?
I've got quite a bit, actually, but I'm going to nut through a bunch of them so we can get to the good stuff. All right. So I watched Don't Think Twice, a comedy. I'll go to the next one. And I fucking love Don't Think Twice. This came out of nowhere for me, to be honest. I was like, people who I know have given it decent reviews, and it's about this comedy group who do improv, and one of them hits it big, and lots of them got issues. One has personal stuff at home, and
I like that movie.
This really resonated with me. It was so funny. I loved all the characters, and it's one of my favourite first-time watches of the year, to be honest. I really fucking enjoyed it. I rewatched Everest with my girlfriend because she hadn't seen it, and I felt like watching it. I haven't seen it in a while, and I still love it. So good. I had a sleepover with some of my mates. We drank beer and watched some movies, and I showed them some of my favourites, and we watched Shaun of the Dead and Brawl in Cell Block 99, one of my favourite movies of all time, one of my favourite movies of last year.
But great gore in both films.
Yes, loved both. Great grindhouse practical effects in both films. My girlfriend showed me The Little Rascals. We had a movie night the next night.
I watched that all the time as a kid, eh?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it, but we had a movie night.
How is it? How's it hold up?
She was like, oh, I'll pick a movie and then you pick one. I was like, all right. And she picked Little Rascals because I hadn't seen it, and I did not like it at all. The acting is fucking atrocious. And that kind of really rubbed me the wrong way. I feel like the screenwriter has never had an interaction with a human child before. I don't really think anyone before, I don't think any children after the year of 2000 could grow up and identify with any of these characters. It kind of felt like a chore to watch, even though it was 70 minutes. But I don't know. My girlfriend loves it, and I feel like if you had nostalgia for it, you'd like it.
That could be. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in like fucking 8 or 9 years. But
although that's because the type of movie that I usually watch is the one that I'm talking about next that we watched. And this pales in comparison to David Fincher's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo on many different levels. Films. Well, yeah. See, it's the type of stuff she watches and the type of stuff I watch, and I didn't dig Little Rascals at all, and of course The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is one of my favourite
What'd she
movies.
think of it?
Oh, she's seen it before. She loves
good
Rascals. And she's seen Tattoo before, but she hadn't seen Tattoo before, sorry. It was her first time, and she loved it.
Nice work.
Yeah, I told her it was going to be brutal, but I showed her Brawl in Cell Block 99 a few weeks ago, and if she can handle that, she can handle anything. But she really dug Dragon Tattoo. And then I watched Confessions of a Dangerous Mind with Sam Rockwell.
Good.
It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but I quite liked it.
He makes it good. Yeah. I didn't love it.
which is unfortunate because I heard really great things. But, you know, I still liked it. I watched Early Man, a 2018 stop-motion film, because fucking Isle of Dogs, we got a trailer for it at my local cinema, and we got posters for it and little posters that I even picked up one, and then they didn't get the fucking movie.
You gotta watch
so
Isle
it's
of
playing
Dogs.
an hour away from me, which fucking fucks me off. And then last night, to get ready, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy because I've already rewatched everything and I still have a hankering, you know. It's like I've got the heroin itches and I'm just scratching myself until I can get a good hit. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's my film swap. Guardians of the Galaxy
awesome.
being one of my favorite MCUs.
Alright, I watched a reasonable amount of stuff, so I'll run through it. I think this is where I left off last week. I went and saw 3 movies in one day with our pal Blake, friend of the podcast. I watched
Dickhead.
Yeah, local dickhead. Catching up on some 2018 films. So I watched Finding Your Feet, British comedy about old people looking for love. It was average. I watched The Party. Another black and white, Cillian Murphy doing a lot of coke. It's basically just like white people are a fucking mess, the movie, and it was decent. It was quite clever, and it had a really cool twist at the end, but it wasn't anything to write home about. And ended the day with a really great movie, The Other Side of Hope. It's a Finnish movie from director Ari Kaurismäki, if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. And that was great. It's about this Syrian dude who seeks refuge in Finland, and sort of he sort of runs away when he's about to be deported, and it's a call to action for humans to be decent to each other, but at the same time it is also hilariously funny. There's a scene that involves a sushi restaurant that is just hilarious. I watched Rampage, which I did not really like. Sorry.
I watched that too.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
I did like it. I had a lot of fun with it.
I think I could have given it a 3 if the villain wasn't so bad. She was just dreadful.
Yeah, I didn't think he was too bad, but the chick was not.
He was a cool, goofy sort of B-movie sidekick. She was... I don't know what she was doing.
Fuck knows.
Watched Isle of Dogs again. Love Isle of Dogs. One of my favourites of the year so far. I watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High upon Jaren's recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really liked it. It's sort of a more edgier, crude alternative to the John Hughes type stuff. And Spicoli's a fucking champion.
Oh, yeah. All for Spicoli. That's the reason you watch it.
Oh, yeah. He's a legend. I watched After School, a movie I've been kind of keen for. It's by Antonio Campos, who did Christine, which I loved, and it's got Ezra Miller and Michael Stuhlbarg, who are both really good in it. But I didn't love the movie. It was very like... just about every shot is out of focus and the subjects are not in frame, and I get that it's an artistic choice, but it didn't really work, and it didn't feel like a real portrayal of high school kids. Literally every single character was just mopey the whole time, and I'm like... Kids are enthusiastic sometimes. I get what he was trying to say, and it does have some really striking imagery, but I didn't love it. Logan Lucky I rewatched, just wanted to show my roommate, bought the Blu-ray, and I think it's one of the most entertaining movies of last year. Love Logan Lucky. Rewatched The Grand Budapest Hotel, just on that Wes Anderson kick, and it's his masterpiece, man. The movie gets better for me personally every time. I just think it's a brilliant, super fun adventure. It's just delightful. It's Wes's imagination gone wild, spilling all over the screen. Ralph Fiennes is incredible, should have been Oscar nominated, and just I think it's really beautiful and is by far his most emotional movie. I watched Hard 8, Paul Thomas Anderson's first film. I really enjoyed this. It has all the... And, even though it's his first movie, it is still very, very PTA, and it has all of his mannerisms, the ones I like and the ones I don't like. So I did really like this. Philip Baker Hall was amazing, and John C. Reilly, back when he was known for doing mostly dramatic stuff, I quite enjoyed Hard 8. I watched Zombieland because I found out my roommate had never seen Zombieland, so I put on Zombieland immediately.
You have to.
I've seen that so many times. Rewatched Civil War because I didn't really do an MCU rewatch to get hyped for Infinity War, but I hadn't seen Civil War since theaters, so I had to throw it on. And yeah, I love Civil War. It's so good. One of MCU's better movies. And I really like about that, the end Cap's speech at the end gives me some tingles. Good. Yeah.
Gives me some tingles in some places I'd rather not talk about, to be honest. but also some
Ooh.
heart tingles.
And
Nah, that flexing scene with the helicopter, man. Now even if you're straight, even if you're a straight male, if you say that didn't give you some tingles downstairs, you're straight up
that
fucking
is
lying.
the best fucking bicep curl ever seen in an MCU movie until now, maybe.
Ooh, question mark?
And then this morning, since my Infinity War session was booked for 8 o'clock because I didn't realize I was going to have the whole day off, but I actually did. I ended up using the day to go see Unsane, which just came out here. Steven Soderbergh's new horror slash thriller.
Not near me, Ella.
You got to watch it. Yeah, it's God, I'm so bad at talking. I know. It's going to be overshadowed by Infinity War in the context of this podcast, but I just want to say of the movies I watched today, I fucking loved Unsane. Sorry, not Insane.
Favorite movie of the day?
I loved it. I don't know. No, but it's definitely one of my favorites of the year so far. I think it's the best thriller of the year. Sorry, Quiet Place. But Dude, it was just a shot in the arm, man. The iPhone stuff is very, very well done, and it feels like I don't even think they used like fancy lenses and shit because it looks like iPhone footage, but it fucking works. And the cinematography is amazing. There's some incredible dolly shots. It enhances the narrative in so many ways, and it's a gritty sort of thriller, but with a big brain, and it has a lot to say about victim blaming and harassment and, you know, institutionalization. It's like it's actually really clever while still, you know, winking at the audience, and it genuinely got under my skin. And Claire Foy is phenomenal. One of just about maybe the best performance I've seen this year. It's certainly up there. So yeah, I just want to say, I know I've gone on too long. I just want to really put that out there. Highly recommend Unsane.
To be fair, this is actually one of your shorter diary displays on the podcast so
yeah,
far.
well,
I think you've been like 6 minutes.
Yeah, but yeah, really loved Unsane, and it capped off the day quite well. I mean, begun the day quite well. Infinity War capped off the day. Did it do it quite well?
Quite well?
Find out on the next episode of Children of Film. Have a good night,
Dragon
everyone.
Ball Z. Oh, what? Oh, see you guys.
All right.
Come back.
All right. That'll do you for the... And of course,
Good
I watched
podcast.
Infinity War a couple of hours ago. All right, so...
You're not dying?
It begins. Infinity War, we're about to talk about it. We are not talking about spoilers yet, but we will definitely go in depth, and we're probably going to do more spoiler talk than non-spoiler talk because it is a difficult movie to talk about without giving stuff away. But we're going to try, and we'll give you our spoiler-free thoughts. Should we give our grades at the end of the spoiler-free thoughts?
Yeah, and a spoiler-free.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100%, and it absolutely needs a rewatch to see where it fits in. But, fucking... Let's give it a crack. So, Infinity War. Infinity War is the latest film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel Studios, directed by Joe and Anthony Russo. Is it written by the Marcus and McFeely?
Written by Marcus and McFeely.
Yeah, good on them. And it's a continuation of the events of the Marvel Cinematic... Anyway, plot, Thanos is coming to get the Infinity Stones. Avengers have to sort of unite, but they sort of break off into different groups. So there's a lot of new dynamics there that we haven't seen before. And, all right, where do I begin with a general consensus? Where I begin is I'm shaken, and I absolutely loved it.
I think it's predictable, but I fucking loved this movie so much. I think that it was very brave, and I'm glad that the directors and the producers put their money where their mouth was when they said that shit was going to go down in this movie. Because it did. It does go down. First and foremost, I want to put out there that this movie, in my opinion, is a Thanos movie with a lot of side stories with the Avengers. Obviously, the whole plot is around Thanos searching for the stones, and we have different teams trying to stop him, but I think the narrative through line is Thanos, and I love that. I really wanted to know about the Titan.
Maybe, yeah.
You wouldn't agree? I'd say definitely.
I don't know if I disagree, but I will say that wasn't how I thought of it.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
I don't really know why, but I feel like...
The Infinity storyline has always been Thanos's, though.
I feel like the storyline I felt the most connected to was actually the one with Stark and Doctor Strange and stuff. I really loved all that. But Thanos is probably the through line. You're probably right. But I guess I just
That's how each story's connected.
When I walked out of it, I wasn't thinking it was a Thanos movie. I thought it was a really great just ensemble for everyone.
Well, no, but that's how the story's connected. That's how everyone
Yeah.
meets each other. Without Thanos, none of this happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I call it a Thanos movie though.
Yeah, I definitely would. Anyway, let's not get hung up on this.
We're
don't
gonna be
with
here
everything
for a
I say.
while.
Yeah,
No, I think you're probably right.
it's kind of hard to talk about this movie without spoilers.
No, I think you're probably right. That never really popped into my head.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But it is kind of hard to talk about this without spoilers. Saying that again, because most things that happen with spoilers. I'll say I was really impressed with what they did with Thanos. I think there are a few you always get this in any CGI blockbuster movie. There are a couple of shots that maybe didn't look too fantastic, but I think the CGI overall was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I thought Thanos looked amazing.
Even little eye twitches.
There were maybe two moments where he looked a little twitchy, but nothing.
But like
even
he looked like he looked like a dude talking. Like he even has some mannerisms and twitches people have when they do a lot of detail with him.
There's a scene where he's doing just like facial expressions. That's the best I can say without spoiling it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So
that was it felt real. Brolin was really good.
You don't go into this movie wanting to see. Brolin was so good. You don't go into this movie being, I can't wait to see my favorite villains, the Black Order. Like I don't think most people will be doing that. But I'd say I was probably let down by a couple of them. But I really loved them more.
Ebony Maw was great.
For me, Cull Obsidian was a big dude who did nothing.
Oh, he did shit.
He was a big letdown.
The chick was good. Proxima Midnight.
Yes, and so was her. I'd say the other one was too.
Her sidekick?
Corvus Glaive. Well, they're supposed to be like married apparently.
I don't really know the names.
Corvus Glaive.
But no, Ebony Maw definitely the MVP of Thanos' henchman. He was badass. He was funny. He was he was good. He was probably the one who interacted with the heroes the most in
funny because he probably had the
conversational sense.
Yeah. Oh, he probably had the least to do as well, to be honest. But
just about.
Yeah, but he was
except the big dude who did nothing.
Oh, that dude. All he did was throw our heroes around a little bit, but they were fine, and they beat the shit out of him.
But
a little
Thanos, top tier MCU villain. Is he my favorite?
He's so fucking good.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea what I really have to think about this movie a lot more, but he was absolutely fantastic. He has depth. He has motivations. He's complicated.
He sees himself as the hero.
He's ruthless. He's ferocious.
He is.
And they set up right away the movie, and that's what I say this movie. This movie has stakes, and that's what people have been begging the MCU for years. So that whole crowd, that whole MCU has no stakes crowd, let's see them try to hate this one.
Yeah, I'd say maybe not favorite in some people's opinions. I don't know about mine, but definitely scariest. Every time he's on screen, you feel scared for your heroes because
absolutely,
you do not know what the fuck's going to happen next. You know, this guy
is absolutely the scariest. Yeah.
They established that from the opening scene. The opening scene, you're like, people will be coming in like, oh, what are we dealing with here? Who's the villain?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Oh.
Score was great. The musical score was great.
Good.
It was very, very bombastic. I don't know how memorable it's going to be, but there were certain beats and certain moments of the score that the more subtle moments were what got me. There was in the first scene there was a sort of like violinish part that I was like, ooh, nice.
Oh yes, I noticed that my second round time too.
So
I'm like,
you know which part I mean, eh? Yeah. So that was really nice. And it's very, very bombastic in the action scenes. And the movie's a big punch up. Like, there's a lot of action. It's non-stop action. So if that's what you want, but they still juggle all the characters. They've done all
job. These emotional beats and character moments hit.
Dude, like this would have been an incredibly difficult film just to put together, just to write, just to put it together. Seriously. And they juggle everyone sort of gets a reasonably even amount of times to shine, some more than others obviously, but I feel like just just about everybody was done justice.
From a writing standpoint,
they balance all the plot threads well, and it's paced so that you never get bored. They never spend too long on one thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
And the thing is, when this movie flicks around a lot to different storylines, and the thing that's so good about this movie, whenever it flicks to a different storyline, you're like, oh, get back to that one. I don't want to see these guys. Every time it flicks, you're like, oh shit, yeah, these guys are doing something sweet. Let's see what's happening here. It'll be them for 10 minutes. It'll flick away. Oh fuck yeah, I wanted to know what these guys were doing. Flicks away. Oh yes, we're back. Like it's everyone I was invested in.
That's something I hadn't thought about, but absolutely is true. There's not a single dull plot thread. There's not.
No. Yeah.
And that's hard. In most of these kinds of movies, there'd be one storyline where every time they cut to it, you're like, all right.
I call the Bran Stark storyline in Game of Thrones my pee break storyline, because whenever Bran Stark comes on, it's when I go to the toilet and go get a drink of water.
Like whether I think
wait for the next scene.
Like I don't think the film's perfect, but I don't think there's a bad scene in it.
No, neither.
Yeah,
I'd agree. I also I can't pick a scene where I would say I don't want to see, like, I don't want to see that. I also love that, you know, I love my first two Avengers films, but the thing about both of them is they take place entirely on Earth. We go fucking everywhere with this movie.
This is a globe-trotting fucking
everywhere.
adventure.
This is a universe-trotting film, bro. We go fucking
it's
all depths of the universe with this.
It's bigger than we really could have imagined.
Oh yeah, you know those Vanity Fair articles with random heroes just like sitting next to each other? That's this movie. You see the weirdest people team up towards the end or towards the middle or the start, wherever.
We won't give all that away.
No,
I mean, you've probably figured it out by now, but we'll talk about that more in spoilers and all the specific relationship and stuff. But what do you mean? All the performances were good. Like many of them giving their best work at the franchise.
I do have to say, there's one thing. Block your ears is going to trigger a lot of people. This movie's funny. If you hear that and just currently screaming, yeah, then this is not for you.
Sorry? It is funny. But it's not. It doesn't undercut any drama. No. The movie is it is easily the darkest MCU film.
Yes, by far.
But it's still funny, and I firmly believe that a film can be dark and funny because I think you kind of need the humor to balance it out a bit. Like if there's no joy, then the sad moments mean nothing.
Dude, if
it's all sad moments, then it's just a slog and it means nothing.
You need to
look at fucking
laugh.
Manchester by the Sea. That's one of the saddest movies ever, and it's so funny. Tons of jokes.
Yeah,
because that's what human beings are like.
The thing is, you have to laugh at this film and have enjoyment to be prepared for what comes in the last act. Because otherwise you're just beaten down with a baseball bat, and you need need
also
that laughter.
I was talking with my friend before the film, and we're like, what do you think is your favorite special effects in the MCU? And we're like, Doctor Strange, easy. And I think this might take that mantle now. The effects are phenomenal. And we see probably some of the most outlandish shit we've ever seen in an MCU movie in terms of battles and scale and just set pieces, but it all feels real. It does. Like they nailed it. I mean, obviously it's not real. There's a bunch of fucking crazy alien shit happening, but in the context of the universe, it all rings true. Nothing feels fake.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. It all felt real because of the stakes behind it, like you were saying, the emotional weight behind this. Every scene is important to you, and you're not sitting there with, like you are in a lot of superhero movies where you're like, oh, I can't wait for this scene to end. Nothing's gonna happen to these guys. You know, they're contracted for another fucking 10 movies. There's a sequel filming right now. These guys are gonna be fine. Like you're watching an Ant-Man, you're like, he's gonna be in Civil War next year. What's gonna? Oh, Yellow Jacket's gonna kill him. No fucking way. Like you have no idea what's gonna happen in this movie.
Yeah, it's quite unpredictable. They break the rules. It absolutely strays away from the Marvel formula.
I will say, me and a bunch of friends did a guessing game for this movie, and I went back and looked at all the things we predicted would happen, and pretty much none of us got barely anything right. This movie is so unpredictable. There's so many surprises, so many twists and turns. There's actually a lot of cheeky marketing schemes they did to hide some of the surprises from this movie too.
Yeah.
Like CGIing some stuff into the trailer that's not really there. But Nah, I fucking enjoyed it. Is anything else to say in non-spoilers?
I don't know. I mean, there's so much to say, and no matter how much we say, we're always going to miss something. And
we are.
We could talk about. Fuck it. Should we just go into spoilers?
Yep. All right.
Don't leave us yet if you haven't seen the film. We'll just wrap it up with some final thoughts, and I guess we'll give it a grade. And with me, it's a tentative grade. It may change. I need to rewatch it again. I don't know where it stands in the MCU, but my final thoughts on Infinity War, I absolutely fucking loved it. I was wrapped in for every scene. There were so many fuck yeah moments. There were so many what the fuck is happening moments in the best way possible. It left my jaw on the floor. It was exciting. I think it's easily one of the MCU's best, and at the moment I'm giving it 4.5 stars out of 5. What do you reckon?
Fuck yeah, 4.5 out of 5. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad you weren't disappointed, because I remember you said you'd be a little let down if it was less than that. But I mean, we go in with high expectations, man. They're great filmmakers, great films.
But you want this to really raise the bar.
You really want it to hit, man. It's the movie of the MCU. You know, the culmination, the 10-year build-up, 6-year build-up, technically.
Many moons of character building.
Yes, and I, on my first watch, gave it a 4.5 as well, and on my second watch, I'm gonna cop out here and say I'm still not certain. I think I want to give it a 5, but I'm still not 100% certain.
Right on.
Borderline. Both, because I have got a couple nitpicky problems, but you do with every movie, don't you? And I fucking love this so much.
I'm sitting here like I don't think I have any specific problems. I just it doesn't quite feel like a 5 out of 5 to me.
Yeah, my only problems is like I didn't like a character.
Instinct.
Yeah, I'll explain in spoilers.
Yeah,
but
I guess there are a couple things that maybe I would have liked to see that we didn't have. They don't make the film any worse, but
no, it doesn't.
There's just parts of it that's a fan of me like I would have liked a bit of that, which I guess we can get into. But so that is it for our spoiler-free discussion. If you have not seen Infinity War, fuck off. But I was about to say fuck back on at the end, but really it's spoilers from here on out, lads. So
actually, yeah, probably fuck all the way off.
I'm sorry.
Come back when you've seen Infinity War, though.
So if you haven't seen Infinity War, this podcast is a diary display, and then like maybe 20 minutes of talking.
Yeah,
sorry, bros.
But come back once you've seen it, and come enjoy it with us. Come talk about it.
Yes, it's just going to be a wild Matt. Like Jaren, you said you've got some talking points. I guess you can follow them a bit if you want. But I don't know. I guess I'm just winging it because I literally just saw it 2 hours ago. I haven't had time to digest it.
Should we just go by this movie in order and talk about things as they happen? So we're not all over the place.
It's probably going to be a bit all over the place, but
yeah, we'll just go. I'll try and keep things in order as much as possible, so we're not like, this bit was cool at the end. Oh, and this bit at the start was awesome, and this bit, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so opening scene. I guess opening scene is what we predicted, and then from there it just goes haywire.
Oh yeah, but even so, the opening scene we see the wreckage of the ship. That the one thing that I would like to see here, by the way,
it's a big question I have.
What
is Korg dead?
Yeah, you just interrupted me. That's what I was saying. I was like, the one thing I was wondering is where's Korg? I apparently killed? Some people see Valkyrie lying dead. But I saw a New Zealand like a Maori looking girl in Asgardian armor lying dead. I wasn't sure if it was Valkyrie though. I'm not 100% on. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, no, that Valkyrie, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure that wasn't Valkyrie.
Yeah. But
I don't think.
Yeah,
dude, me and my roommate also we were looking out for Korg the whole time. Every time, when Thor was floating with all the dead bodies, we're like, is Korg's body gonna be there? But I don't know. Is he dead, or is it a case of like they just? I guess putting Korg in that scene would have ruined the tone.
I'd say so.
But this is good. He could still be alive. My Rocky friend. I'm concerned about my Rocky friend.
Where he would have gone. So yeah. Well, I mean, Thor did say that he killed half of his people, but then the whole ship blows up. So didn't he kill everyone? I don't know. Yeah,
I'm confused about that. Like,
anyway,
why did he blow up their? Because he wanted the Tesseract, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah,
anyway,
Loki. I guess it would have been. I would have liked a bit more of like brotherly love between them, but it was still great how Loki went out.
Well,
It's
you
sad.
gotta
Loki,
continue
but-
on what happened after Ragnarok, man. Thor was not a fan. Like at the end of Ragnarok, Thor's like, we'll never be as close as we were. I know that you deceive me all the time.
But
like,
Loki still tried to. Loki still tried to kill Thanos.
Yeah, after he almost sold out Thor, he said he was like, "Go on, kill him," and then it took him like 30 seconds of torture to be like,
give him
right.
a total. I kind of like that they didn't give him a total hero's like redemption.
because that's
like,
how he is. He died how he lived.
Being a cheeky cunt.
So anyway, Loki's definitely dead. I love the bit where Loki's like, "We have a Hulk," which was Stark's line to him 6 years ago, and then we see Hulk ram Thanos into the thing, and the Black Order are like, "Should we step in?" And the Moors like, "Just let him have his fun." And we see Thanos
And
pushes Hulk away and chops him.
That line is really what's letting you know, Thanos
yeah.
is gonna fuck some people up.
And the first thing you see Thanos do to Hulk is chop him in the thing. And the thing that got me was when Hulk gets chopped in the neck, he goes, "Oh!" and he kind of steps back and doesn't want to fight him. He's like, "No, he doesn't. I just want to fight him." And
is that
it's like
why
a full-on
he's afraid to
boxing
turn
match.
into Hulk for the rest of the movie?
Yeah, no, he's afraid because he doesn't want to fight Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
that's a really good. I remember they said they were doing a.
Like, you green asshole.
I remember they said. Yeah, right. They said they were doing a 3-movie arc with Hulk, and I think that begins with him not wanting to be Banner, and then him not wanting to be Hulk, and then in the 3rd movie, I think they're going to learn to share a wheel, which is a really cool.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I talked
isn't
about.
His last line to Hulk, like we have a lot of things to talk about or something.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Was cheeky in the marketing. Hulk's in the trailer in the trailers.
Yeah, but
and he's not in the movie.
In it at
the start.
He's only really in it at the start.
But he's in the battle for
so
Wakanda in the trailers.
I mean, saying the Guardians were highlights in this. They were awesome. Thor hanging out with the Guardians. Lots of great banter. And I like that we still had sort of the spirit of Ragnarok Thor, but at the same time, there is an air of seriousness about him for the whole movie. He's still funny and stuff. But he's not goofy and laughing at everything because he has just gone through a lot from.
But his first line
to the beginning of this
is while he's being choked, and he's like, "You talk too much." Like that's Ragnarok.
Yeah,
or you don't want to go straight back because he's had character development since the first one. He's evolved.
Thor in the span of 2 movies, Thor's gone from one of the least interesting Avengers to like just about the best.
I always loved him, but I love Thor in this movie, man. He was so good.
He was got, dude,
so good.
The fucking axe.
That
whole thing where they go fucking craft the Stormbreaker with old mate and
Dinklage,
the man, he was cool. And like that's the bicep curl I was referring to when he's holding the fucking thing open.
I know I know that was impressive.
That whole scene was, and when Groot fucking turns his arm into the handle and then it just sort of slowly floats up and cuts away, I'm like, oh boy, shit's about to go down.
Right after the opening scene, we go back to Earth and we see Tony, who's getting married soon. He gets zapped by Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is there with Bruce, and Tony's like, "What the fuck?" And he explains to him about the. I love how when Bruce lands in the Sanctorum and he's still half Hulk, and he's like, Thanos is coming.
Bruce had a couple of cool reunions with people, like when he sees Tony and they have a bit of a hug.
Natasha,
or when he sees Cap and stuff at the end. I love when I know I'm jumping forward, but just real quick, when Cap sees Thor rock up near the end, he just sort of smiles.
Yeah, no, he's like, does he say I like your haircut. And Thor's like, I see you copied my beard. And he's like,
no, but when Thor like first rocks up, Cap just sort of looks at him and he's like, all right.
Yeah.
And then they have that chat,
and then Bruce takes off his helmet and he's like, you're all screwed now. Yeah. But we get Ebony Moore and Cull Obsidian attacking the city, and one of the best lines in the movie, Tony calls him Squidward. That's so good.
I was like, there were a couple good ones like that, like when Chris Pratt calls Thanos Grimace.
Yeah, or when I don't know how he'd get that though. Was Grimace from McDonald's around in the 70s?
When was 80s? Wasn't he from the 80s?
I don't know. He was abducted in like 79.
If Star was from the 70s, he would be in like his mid to late 40s.
Yeah. He was
He's not
conceived
that
in the
old.
70s. The first scene in Guardians 2 takes place in the 70s, and that's when she gets conceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Peter
looking it
Quill,
up
what,
now.
Peter Quill's 45?
Grimace.
That doesn't seem right.
McDonald's. Oh, yeah, he was portrayed by
He's
40
looking
Sanders in
on Grimace.
1971.
I love that with where
Cool.
Infinity War, he's doing research on Grimace.
On Grimace, yeah. Oh, and also, Star-Lord also
important
says he's going to
stuff.
knock his... He also says he's going to knock his nutsack chin right off his face. That was...
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
all the shit how Thanos plays with reality is cool, but I guess where are we at? The battle at the start in New York was really cool.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
What I love was Cull
we haven't talked
Obsidian is
about
just...
Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
He was one of the best parts of this film, and he's nailing it, man. He is fucking Peter Parker. Just the way he fights, the way he flies around. I love the little moments where like he might be like ready for battle, and then he'll get hit with something, and he'll just faintly scream as he flies away.
Like
I
he's
enjoy
chasing,
those moments.
yeah, he's chasing the Ebony Maw, who's chasing Doctor Strange, and he's almost got him, and he gets hit by something that Ebony throws him, and he's like, ah, gets
like,
right back up.
Or like when he's flying up with the ship, and Tony turns on his parachute, and
come
he's like, "Oh, come on!" and flies away.
Yeah.
And then he says,
it's so good.
and he loves his old movie. You know that really old movie Aliens?
You know
They
that
do the
really old
fucking
movie Aliens?
thing?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, please don't put your eggs in me.
Yeah. If we get abducted by aliens and they put my eggs in me, I'm gonna be pissed. Wait, what are you talking about? I'm trying to tell you that people are here, and the Guardians come in and they have a fight with the Avengers. That's so sick. But before that, let's talk about a scene that happens before that. So Thor meets the Guardians and he's lying down there, and they're talking about how muscly he is. You're a dude.
That was
Quill.
great. I forgot about that.
This is a man. Wait, what about when Rocket's like, don't kid yourself, Quill, you're one sandwich away from fat. And he's like, what? And everyone's looking at him, he's like, am I?
And like,
You're a dude,
He's like,
Quill.
Gamora,
This
stop
is a
rubbing
man."
his muscles.
Yeah, she's like, his muscles are like something metal fiber, alien metal fiber, and he's like, stop massaging his muscles. And he gets up and oh, no, you can't take the pod. Are you making your voice deeper? You are. You're intimidating the... Yeah, you're... he looks like a pirate made love with an angel.
But no, and that's one of our great dynamics of the movie. Thor and Rocket go off on a bit of an adventure where he sort of recruits Rocket to go to... I don't remember what the place
You
is
seem
called,
like
but
the captain here, yeah.
The place where all the old weapons were forged, and Rocket's like, I'd like to go, and then he starts talking about how dangerous he is, and he's like, is it weird that I'd like to go even more now?
A little bit, yeah. And Thor's like, a little bit, yeah.
No, Thor's great. He keeps calling him
like,
Rabbit, and where he calls Groot Tree, like at the end, it's like, oh, this is my new
This is my friend, Tree.
Oh, that's one of my favorite moments. I am Groot. And Steve, so sincerely, I am Steve Rogers.
I am Steve Rogers,
Oh,
yeah.
that was so
good. I am
great.
Steve Rogers. Oh, I love it. Steve is... he's still my baby.
He's such a sweetheart.
I know. I am Steve Rogers.
I will say...
there's no judgment on his part at all.
I will say I wanted more Steve.
Yeah, I did want more Cap.
Like,
but,
that's one thing I was talking about, right? I want a bit more of that. I feel like Steve didn't really drive the plot in any way. He was just kind of there. He was great, but he...
Well, they needed him to save Scarlet Witch at the start from proximity.
Yeah, true. But yeah, he was great, but he didn't really drive the plot at all. But I'm sure... now that we're in spoilers, I can say I'm sure Infinity War is going to be his time. I mean, Avengers 4 is going to be his time.
Yeah. And also without I was just quickly saying with the main important thing he did for the plot was that, remember, Stark said the only person who could find them was Steve, so I don't think we'd have Vision and Scarlet Witch in this movie at all without Steve Rogers. True. And I love how Steve Rogers I love how, even though they're not in the Avengers, which, you know, the events of Civil War, for people who said it has no stakes, is still in effect. They're not the Avengers anymore. They're still criminals. Like, he's like, arrest these guys. Oh, I will say Rhodey really shines in this movie. I really liked Rhodey in this movie.
In that final battle, War Machine was doing some damage.
Yeah, right. Oh, do I have to bow? Yes, of course you have to bow. He's the king. Oh, okay. We don't do that here. He looks over at Rhodey. Rhodey gives him a wink.
Yeah,
so good.
Rhodey was bloody excellent. Scarlet
Witch and the Vision still keep in contact, and they meet up every
They were
few
one
weeks.
of the most emotionally resonant plot threads, I think.
They're both of them together was so good when they were holding hands at the start, and
that opening scene really helped to fucking set up their relationship for the film. It was done quite well.
So good, yeah.
Her and Elizabeth Olsen's acting was really good. especially at the end.
So good. We'll talk about all the stuff that happens in the last 10 minutes altogether, because
she was probably one of the best performances in the movie, I reckon.
Oh, she was so... I'm glad that she got to give her range too. Like, she has a couple moments in Age of Ultron especially, but in here she really gets to...
I haven't talked about him enough, but Stark was fantastic in this.
Oh, he was so good, right?
Dude, all week I've been making fun of him, like saying fucking Stark, what a silk, fucking Stark started Ultron and shit. And now after this movie, I'm just like, that disappeared. I'm like,
right?
I do love also, Stark.
The thing is, you're like, oh, it's just a guy in a metal suit. Like, what the fuck's he gonna do with the god? He takes Thanos on, dude, man. On Titan, he gives it to him.
He shows off some new tech. Iron Man was great in this in all his battles.
He gives Thanos the business for a good 45 seconds. He dogs him around.
Yeah, he was really good. And that
what about when Spider? Yeah,
that might have been my favorite plot thread of the movie. Him, Peter, and Doctor Strange and Star-Lord and stuff. I really enjoyed all of those scenes.
I have to say, Star-Lord was so good in this movie too.
He was great. And like and it shows that he really does work. He doesn't have to be like the main man.
And something I loved is that this was a direct continuation from Guardians 2, in that Peter and Gamora's relationship evolved. I think it evolved more in this movie than it ever did in Guardians 2. Like, it starts out with them, touching hands and stuff, kissing a little, and by the end, fuck off. And by the end, when they do that, when they do the I love you. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not even in the end. That's like in the first act when she's like, I love you, Peter. Like,
Thanos goes hard. And
right after the Guardians meet, the Guardians go make sure that Aether is fine, where the Collector has it on Nowhere, which they've been. There was so many throwbacks to Guardians 1. Remember you are mighty Quill. Remind him about the time you saved the universe with a dance off. Like the movie Footloose? Exactly like Footloose. Is that still the best movie ever made? Never was.
Freaking the Avengers. Who's the Avengers? Earth's mightiest heroes, like Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, like Kevin Bacon.
Exactly.
I love how they told her that
Star-Lord gets so excited. Like, exactly. Yeah. That's what I loved about the Guardians here. Like, they felt lived in. Like, you felt that they'd been hanging out with each other for a while. Like,
literally. It's been a couple years since Volume 2.
Yeah, and and when she says Kevin Bacon, Star-Lord gets really excited.
Yeah, and when he's like, when he's like, what, like Footloose, and Star-Lord's like, exactly like Footloose. Yeah, that's he's like, yeah, is that still the greatest movie ever made? And Peter's like, no, it never was. And he's like, looks at him.
I love that. No, it never was.
So good.
Yeah, Spider-Man loves the movie references.
But when they go to Nowhere, and before they go to Nowhere, Gamora tells Star-Lord, she's like, listen, I know something that no one else does. I know where the Soul Stone is.
She doesn't tell Peter that, but that's what she
doesn't.
knows.
But it's insinuated because when Thor
Peter
says
to kill her, if
Thor goes, no one knows where the Soul Stone is, and it cuts to Gamora quickly, and she looks down. So I got that straight away. I'm like, there it is. I'm glad it wasn't on Wakanda. It was unpredictable. It was a new place. I love that.
Or Hawkeye didn't have it.
Yeah, Hawkeye had it.
We'll get to Hawkeye later. He's not in the movie, but we'll get to Hawkeye, I guess. But no, Gamora was really, really good. We dig into her backstory with Thanos, how he destroyed her planet, and how he sort of took her, and he's very, very smart, manipulative, how he sort of shielded her away from the action and made it look like he was helping her, and gives her the little dagger and stuff.
Yeah, he's manipulative, but he loves her.
Oh, he does love her. I mean, he's still fucking evil, and he's still fucking evil absolutely. And did horrible things.
But he's capable of love.
But he's capable of love, and I guess we're gonna go into this scene. Fucking Red Skull.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was going to talk about when they find Thanos on Nowhere, but I guess we'll skip to this one.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's what I was talking about.
Peter goes to shoot her, and bubbles come out of his gun. Thanos fucks with reality.
But what about when he uses the reality stone to turn Drax into a pile of rocks and turn her into like a paper?
For 1.5 seconds, I was like, wait, did he just kill Drax? And I'm like, oh yeah, wait, reality.
Yeah, yeah, right. I was like. Yeah, but and then Drax. First of all, they go to Drax's planet and his hideout, and you find out that he's got Nebula there, and he's torturing her. Yeah, he's pulling her apart and shit. Like brutal. Yeah, and she's like, and he's pulling her apart, and she's like, okay, I'll tell you where the Soul Stone is, because, you know, I love how Thanos is like, I didn't teach you to lie, that's why you're so bad at it. Like, he's a bad dude, but he didn't fucking teach you to lie. Like, I didn't teach you to lie.
He didn't
that's
raise
why
no
you're so bad
fucking
at
liar.
it. Right? And she takes him to, I can't remember the planet's name, but
It started with a V, I think.
fuck knows. But it's such a nice planet. It's such a cool design though. The cinematography on the opening was so cool with like the hills and the water.
And the shot at the end of the scene where
good.
Thanos is sitting in the water and you see...
I know, right?
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, so Thanos and Gamora walk up and Thanos is like, oh, stop, someone's here. And this figure that looks like death is hovering off the ground is like Thanos... Well, you know
who
who
I've
it is,
already
Jacob already
spoiled
said
who
it, but
it
he's
is,
like...
'cause
But he's like...
just
And you
all
know
over
it
the
if you're
place.
listening to this. But yeah, he's like Gamora... He's like Thanos, son of whatever. Gamora, daughter of... Thanos, and he's like, you know us? And he's like, it's my duty to know everyone who comes here. And then he takes off the hood and it's fucking Red Skull.
Yeah, that got me a little excited.
No, is that even legal?
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean, I don't know why he was there. I guess it was just a cool nod, but I'll allow it.
No, it makes sense.
It's a fucking
He got-
awesome scene.
He got
I guess he's just been living there since the
from the
1940s.
Tesseract, and he got teleported there from the Tesseract, which is what Thanos uses to teleport around with, and
And it
I
seems
guess
like
he
he's
was
just
enslaved or
resigned to
something.
his duty there now.
Well, I feel like he never loved anything, so he got transported to where the Soul Stone is, and his soul got trapped because he never loved anything. I guess I don't know.
Ah, yeah. But so yeah, he goes to Thanos, and Thanos has to get the Soul Stone, he has to sacrifice the one he loves, and Gamora thinks she's done him the dirty here. Gamora's like,
she's laughing at him.
he's not
She's like,
capable
"You're
of
a
love.
dickhead."
And as soon as that happens, you're like, you see Thanos' face, and you're like, oh no,
Oh,
Gamora's
no.
dead.
Thanos turns around and he's crying, and Gamora's like, tears, really? And I'm just thinking, oh no. And then it goes
I
to
did not
Red
expect
Skull
that.
in his last line, and Red Skull's like, they're not for him. And then he's still got his accent too. It's not played by Hugo Weaving, but the accent's still
Yeah, they still got
on
a
point.
German
I still
accent.
really loved him. He looked so fucking cool.
Yeah.
How he was hidden in the cloak and,
he's
he was
fucking
really dark.
aged.
And oh yeah. So yeah. But and Gamora's like, no, this isn't love. This isn't love. You don't love me. And Thanos is just like, I'm sorry. I ignored my destiny once when I fucking gave Loki that fucking
I'm
stone,
sorry,
and he
little one,
fucked
and
off
then
with
just
it.
sort of drags her over the cliff.
Oh,
And I was like,
no.
Jesus Christ, that's grim.
And she
So,
is, yeah.
At this point, we got three characters who are gone for good: Loki, Heimdall, and Gamora.
Heimdall teleports Hulk back to Earth.
We
by
didn't
the way.
talk about
He doesn't just fall
Heimdall,
there.
but he went out like
he was
like
so
a champion.
good in that last, yeah.
It was good. Rip.
And
the
Heimdall's
big fella.
Thor's best friend. I love how he said that.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
yeah. Do you have a
That scene with Rocket
do you
and
have a
Thor
mum?
just
A
having
dark
a
elf
heart
killed
was
her.
very good.
Best. Yeah. Do you have a mum? Oh, killed by a dark elf. A best friend stabbed in the heart. A dad? Oh, he's dead. A sister? Oh, yeah. She was imprisoned in hell, and I had to kill her.
Yeah, she stabbed
brother,
my heart,
he
but
was
you know
just
that's
murdered.
life.
He stabbed me through the eye. Yeah. So good.
Family's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, his scene with Rocket was good. When Rocket's like, I guess I gotta be the captain now, and he just sort of
Yes.
goes to try and...
And I
cheer
love
him
how
on.
he thinks that's what captains have to do, because that's what
Yeah.
Peter does to him. You
Yeah.
know, that's yeah. Also, I have to say, something that kind of let me down a little bit as well is that I feel like after Guardians 2 and after this movie, I feel like Drax has been completely transformed into the joke machine. I don't think he has.
I
much
loved him,
else.
though.
I did. He was really funny, and I loved him. I loved him a lot more than I did in Guardians 2, which I thought they overdid it a lot. But
Yeah.
I mean, in the first one, man, which I just rewatched, there's so much more to him than jokes.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
There's that's the best characterization of him by far. He's so funny in this, man.
I
His
feel like
jokes
I
are
guess
so
they don't
fucking
really know
funny,
what to
but-
do with him from a dramatic standpoint, because I guess all they really had was him mourning his family, and you can't just milk that the whole time, but I don't know.
I'll raise you one more. Who's Gamora? I'll raise you one more. Why is Gamora? So good.
Dude,
Such a good line.
that made me laugh so fucking hard. I love Drax, and there's actually I'll wait to the end.
I just
but
feel
there's
like
one
he's
I
a
was gonna
joke
talk
machine
about.
now. But yeah.
But the Guardians were all great. They all did. The
Yeah,
Mantis was
I do
really
have-
good too.
Oh yeah, she was. She was really funny and she was useful too. I do have to say quickly that Guardians 2 has my favorite Drax moment in the series though. So sorry for
Which one?
talking that. But the moment where he's sitting there talking about his daughter like really
Yeah,
calmly and
yeah.
passively, and Mantis touches his touches his
And
thing
she
to see what
starts
he's
crying.
feeling. She just starts fucking crying. Yeah, but and then we go to the Battle of Wakanda. Cap has taken Vision there, and Shuri's trying to get the stone out of his head. And I love how Shuri just schools him. She's like, "Well, why didn't you do this and this and this, and then you could do this?" And he's like,
"Think of it."
We didn't. And she looks at him. She's like, "I'm sure you tried your best." Yeah, so good.
Big Shuri.
And then we get engage all defenses and get this man a shield. And I'm
Hell
like,
yeah.
fuck yeah. But I have to say as well quickly,
Alright.
when on the fight with Scarlet Witch, when Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight look up, and you see a train going by and you see a shadowy figure in my seat, I'm like, oh, fuck yes. My girlfriend Molly looked at me and she's like, oh my god, yes. And I'm like, it's happening. And then you see him step out and I'm like, woohoo. Oh god, so
Yeah,
good.
no, that fight scene there was pretty awesome.
Yeah. We've got a bunch of armies and a 100-year-old semi-stable man. A semi-stable 100-year-old man.
100-year-old man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see Buckos. Yeah, Bucky was good. Didn't have a ton to do, but he was good.
I do have to say, from that line in the trailer where Star-Lord's like, that plan sucks, my plan could be better. Star-Lord had a fucking good plan. That was a solid plan.
Stark's plan.
No, Star-Lord's.
Stark's plan was great. It almost worked until I guess.
Until he ruined it for himself.
But understandable, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you
so
shouldn't have.
what happens is Thanos gets there.
Is
So
it Star-Lord's fault that things happened at the end?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is.
Fuck you,
Well,
Star-Lord.
what happens is Star-Lord. Are
we going into that now?
So yeah, I guess. So Thanos.
Well, yeah,
not
so
the
they're
very
fighting-
end. Not the very
Alright,
end.
so Star-Lord,
Thanos gets
Strange,
back.
Stark, Drax,
He has the
Mantis,
Soul Stone.
They're
He only
all-
needs the mind and the time.
Yeah, they're all sort of brawling with Thanos a bit, and they go follow Star's plans. Oh, that whole fight was awesome. Strange throwing portals everywhere. Spider-Man jumping through all the portals and hitting him.
I was going to say it starts off with Thanos getting there, and only just the plan quickly, and only Doctor Strange is there, and he's like, I'm guessing the Maw is dead, and he's like, yeah, and Thanos is like, man, I've lost a lot of people, like, fuck, and then he's like, and then Strange says something, he's like, we're not going to stop you, and he's like, where? And then you see Iron Man drop a fucking building on him, and then Iron Man's like, where? And that was easy, and he's like, yeah, if you wanted to piss him off, and he gets back up with the Power Stone, and they all start jumping on him. I love when Doctor Strange opens the portals for Spider-Man, he's like, magic with a kick! Magic with a punch.
Magic with a kick. Hell yeah. No, that fight scene was so cool, but it ends with them Mantis sort of getting inside his head, and he starts almost looks like he's crying really aggressively.
Yeah.
It's like he's mourning, and
Manos puts him to sleep, and
really
she's like,
they're just
quickly,
using
and
it-
they're trying to pull the gauntlet off, yeah.
yeah, and they almost get it until
The gauntlet comes loose. It gets off his hand.
Yeah,
But
Nebula figures out that Gamora is dead, and that just sends Star-Lord into rage. And I guess you get it. He just starts hitting him and he's like,
Wakes him up, yeah.
Thanos is like, I had to do it, and Star-Lord's just like dumbfounded. He's like, no, you didn't. And
he just starts
hitting
fucking
him.
smacking him. Like, he should have shot him, but no, he just starts, or stabbed him or something. Could have
probably
killed him
would've
right then
done
and there,
anything.
with a sword. Anyway, like, you could have stabbed him in the face or something.
Yeah.
Cut his throat. Anyway, man, that's kind of silly that they didn't cut his throat right then and there.
Yeah,
but
another part where he gets hit in the chest when he should have been hit in the head.
Oh yeah, but no, I understand why that happened, but because he
Yeah.
had to stop the blast coming from the hand. But anyway, yeah, and Thanos, and they get the glove off, and as Thanos awakens, you see his hand slip out of it, but then grab it and kick Spider-Man off and put it back
He fucks him
on.
up immediately, and that is where shit goes
yeah.
south.
And basically, he sits there, and before all this as well, something that's really important.
I mean, we don't need
you
blow by blow of the whole plot.
You see, yeah, but this
People
is
have
important.
seen
You see Thanos. You see Doctor Strange start flipping out, and they're like, "What's going on?" And he's like,
Strange machine broke.
Strange is like, I just looked at all the different realities, 14 million of them, where we fight Thanos, and Stark's like, how much do we win? He's like, one. And that doesn't come into fruition until later when Thanos is he stabs Tony, and I thought Tony was dead right then and there. He stabs Tony in the gut, and Tony just starts sitting there. Yeah.
You cannot kill Cap or Tony without having the two make amends. You can't.
No, you can't.
It's not allowed.
No, it's not going to happen. Anyway, Tony's sitting there with a fucking thing through his gut, and Thanos is like, I do know you, Tony Stark. I'm burst with knowledge.
Yeah, I too am
you.
cursed
And he's
with
like,
knowledge, yeah.
I really respect you, Stark. You put up a good fight, and I do hope they remember you. And and fucking
he's
Strange
like,
goes,
after I'm done,
if you
half of humanity will still be alive, and I do remember you.
Yeah, and such a good line though. And then Strange goes, "Stop! If you save his life, if you spare him, I will give you the time stone." And then he does it, gives him the time stone. Thanos is like, "Fuck yeah!" Only has one left, and he pops off straight to Wakanda. And then it just ends on Tony, and he's looking at Doctor Strange, and he's like, "Why would you do that?" And then it cuts back. What
is Strange's endgame here?
I think I know. I'll talk about it after.
He said it's the only way or something.
I'm fairly certain. I think the only way for them to win was to keep Stark alive, and I think he had to do it at all cost.
Right.
And I think the only way
interested
that
to see what you have
Stark
to say here.
Yeah.
I was kind of at a loss when the film ended, which we'll get into.
Thanos pops back to Thanos pops to Wakanda. His first time on Earth, actually. That's a misleading from the trailer too. He pops into Earth in the trailer, but he first time on Earth. He pops straight into Wakanda, and all of the heroes diverse to go and try and fucking stop Thanos because two of them are beating up Vision and shit. Or I thought the Outriders were cool, but they were just kind of there to give the Avengers something to do while Thanos was fighting them. But they were trying to get the stone, so they were they were there for a reason to try and get the stone. But you're right, they were a distraction, so Glaive could sneak in there and try and steal the stone while everyone was distracted. Anyway, Thanos gets in there and he starts fucking them up. They're all like, everyone go to Thanos. And I love how he used the things individually. He's like, Reality Stone, turn this guy into blocks at one point. And then he's like, Power Stone, kick this dude away. And then he's like, just like, he uses them really cool.
Thanos was a machine, as good. And even when he wasn't using the stones, at the start when he was fighting like a boxer. He was sort of brawling.
Yeah. He hit him in the when he did Hulk the dirty right in the fucking kidney. I'm like, Jesus, I know how much that hurts, and that fucking hurt.
Yeah,
he's feeding him one.
He's very good. They really utilized a lot of people's powers in this one, which is really absolutely cool. But so where are we at? Strange has given up the stone. Thanos comes to Earth. They're in the middle of fighting. They're trying to really surgically remove Vision's but Glaive interrupts that and throws him down, and that's where Thanos comes while Glaive is trying to get the thing off his head. Well, first of all, Bruce Banner tries to turn into Hulk, and it still won't let him. So he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. And he kind of straps this glove onto Cull Obsidian's fucking useless fucking hand, and he gets shoved straight into the fucking force field and dies. And then rip. And I was like, rip. And then Jinx Soda. And then that was pretty badass.
That was cool as. And then Glaive fails to get the stone, but it's good because and they chuck Proxima Midnight into that girl fight, dude, with Okoye and Scarlet Witch,
and like they chuck her into that steamroller or whatever was going past, and then Black Widow's just like, that was gross or something. That was disgusting.
And one of the best lines as well was from Okoye when Scarlet Witch saves him. She's like, "Why was she up there this whole time?" Good because it's true. That's something you would say. It's not just a random joke to cut tension. That is like, and then
we end up sort of in the woods with Cap. Vision saves Cap from that bad person, whatever his name was.
Vision saves Cap. What?
Doesn't he? Doesn't he stab?
Oh yes, no, you're right. He stabs him through the stomach.
Cap.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. And after Cap saves Vision, so they do a 1-on-1, and then Thanos comes down, starts wrecking people. We see that hand thing where Cap catches Thanos' hand, and I love how they left it on that, which is so cool. And then Thanos is like, "All right." And he just moves his hand off to one side and knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah, that's the thing in this. That's what the Russos are so good at. Visceral fights. This is, this is 10 times more supernatural and fantastical than anything in Winter Soldier and Civil War. But they still keep that visceralness and fucking... all the hits feel real. That hit where he just clocked Cap. Superhero fights don't normally feel like that. It just feels like a bunch of CGI beings,
especially M-rated ones. You get to your Logans and stuff where they can have visceral.
And that all comes back down to this film having stakes. When Tony's fighting Thanos, you think, fuck, he could die at this moment, because that's what they do at the start. They set it up that it has stakes, and that made the experience 10 times more nerve-wracking, 10 times more tense. There were a lot of times where I was just sort of having fucking restless leg syndrome in my seat.
I know,
what is going
I don't want to see what happens.
Yeah, And yeah, the fights were really good there. So it sort of culminates there with them trying to hold Thanos off, and he's just fucking them up. He's throwing them off like they're nothing once he gets the time stone going. And
then here's something that happens between something we were talking about before, something that was so good, the relationship between Scarlet Witch and Vision. Vision goes, so Thanos has destroyed a ball, he's coming towards him, and Vision looks at Scarlet Witch and she's like, it's time, you have to do this, which was something they talked about earlier in the movie. And Scarlet Witch is like, I can't do it, I love you, and Vision's like, I love you too, but if you do it, all I'll be able to feel is you, and that's what I need.
He's like,
I need you to do this.
Like when he's like, you could never hurt me.
Yeah, he's like, all line. I feel is you, and then she's doing it, and as she's doing it, he's mouthing, he's like, I'm sorry, yeah, and she's doing it, and she destroys the last Infinity Stone. And Thanos sits there, and I'm like, and I wasn't the time stone was out of my head at this moment. I forgot about it. And Thanos is sitting there, and he's like, "This is not the time to mourn." And I'm like, "Wow, he's not really pissed about this." And then he pulls out the thing that Strange had at the end of Doctor Strange, and I'm like, of course. Yeah. And he brings Vision back to life.
Poor Vision dies
and rips that fucking stone out of his head, and Vision turns black.
That was such a fucking like. That was another just example of Thanos' brutality, and contrasting to like that whole battle on Wakanda was just about them trying to stall for them to surgically remove Vision's stone and save him, and that whole fucking sequence is all about that. And then Thanos just reverses it and kills him in a second and rips it out of his fucking head.
And dude, he's made of unbreakable metal, vibranium.
Yeah.
Strongest metal in the world, and Thanos ripped it out of him with his bare fingers, not even his glove, his bare fingers.
Yes. He's a bit of a unit.
Thanos puts the last gem on, and when we think all is lost, we hear some lightning, and I'm like, oh shit. And we see Thor.
So good.
Thor. Oh yeah, dude, when Thor comes up with the
axe in that battle, Immigrant Song was playing in my head.
And he's got lightning all around him, like they kept that from Ragnarok. He's got lightning all around him, and
flying, and he's all lighting up blue, like.
Dude, he's destroying like 50 of them at once, while Cap and all the big hitters are taking out like 1 or 2. He takes out like 60 at once, and you're like, this is why he's the God of Thunder.
So beast.
And then Thor, out of nowhere, when Thanos has completed the gauntlet, we see Thor hurl Stormbreaker. Well, first of all, Thor's coming towards him, and Thanos uses the glove to shoot at him. And this is why Thor couldn't throw it at his head, because he would have been hit with the blast, which might have killed him and then killed Thanos as well. But he throws the thing so it goes straight into the blast, so it doesn't hit him, and in turn that hits Thanos right in the chest, goes through him, and then Thor gets down there, and this is the same thing he said.
I told you I was going to kill you for that or something.
Because he said that after Thanos killed Heimdall. He's like, I'm going to kill you for that. Heimdall. He's like, I'm going to kill you for that. And he's like, I told you I'd kill you. And he pushes this thing further into Thanos' gut.
And for a second, you're like, wow, did he actually do it?
Yeah. And Thanos is like, and Thanos is like, you should have aimed for the head. And then Thor's like,
it's like, oh no.
Oh no. And then it looks up, and Thanos has his mighty gauntlet, and he just clicks his fingers.
And that sets us up for the end, and
it goes completely black.
Wow.
And dude, Thanos awakens, and there's nothing around him, and he's like, what's going on here? And he looks, and he sees little Gamora, and she's like, did you do it? And he's like, I did. And then she like smiles, and then it cuts back to the Avengers, man, and they're like, what just happened? It begins
with Bucky going down.
Bucky goes, well, first of all, Thanos goes back. Thanos uses the Time Stone and Tesseract, and jumps out of there, and there's only Avengers left. And Bucky, Steve?
And at that point, I'm like, is Thanos just wiping out half of humanity right now?
And dude, it literally ceased to exist. Bucky turns to
ash. I was like, no, you can't do that. I love Bucky.
No.
And then dude, I was not prepared.
You know what tricked me?
There's a storm coming.
Dude, I thought a bunch of these people couldn't be killed. So what happens is Okoye's lying there almost dead, and Black Panther comes up. Okoye, this will not be the day that you die. Helps her up, and then they grab hands, and we see a hand start dissipating. I'm like, fuck, Okoye's dead. And she stays there, and it starts going up his arm, and I'm like, what?
And
What?
some of them,
Panther's
it's just
dead.
like nothing in the battle. Like Falcon just fades away like nothing, and I'm like, shit. There goes Captain America's two
Scarlet
successors.
Witch.
Fucking Scarlet Witch goes down and she's sitting there mourning Vision. A few of these hit me pretty hard. Fucking.
First of all, before the hard hitters, just talk about all the rest because there's one or two that I want to talk about last.
Yeah. But
all the
I'm gonna forget some. But like what I did notice is that the original 6 is still standing.
Oh, the OG Avengers. Are
So
still
we
there.
still need to see them
God.
reunite for some sort of battle.
Actually, we might have personal correlations with each one. So we'll talk about the ones that did affect us first, then we'll go on the ones we missed. I want to say, first of all, the one that hit me the hardest and the one that sent me into a fit,
I feel like
I was
I'm probably
audibly
the same
crying.
one.
Yeah, the one that started me audibly crying was Spider-Man. Man, I was
Dude,
going to make a
that
quip
was-
there and say like Falcon or something, but dude, when
That was
everyone's
brutal.
gone and you see Spider-Man
Like,
standing next to Tony and all you hear is Mr. Stark.
Oh my god! After everyone's sort of faded away on Wakanda and stuff, you're like, God, can't get any worse. And then we cut back to Strange and Tony and shit.
you're like,
I'm
oh,
oh no,
fuck,
we've got all
these
these
guys
guys.
are here.
And the camera turns to Drax, and I'm like, don't you fucking do it! Don't you fucking do it! And then they did it. And then fucking
Peter
Star-Lord,
Quill.
fucking Star-Lord, and I'm like, oh my god! And then fucking Mantis, and then Tony and Spider-Man sitting there, and I'm like, oh no, what are these two gonna do? And then Spider-Man's just like, Mr. Stark,
Mr. Stark?
I'm not feeling so good. And you're like, no.
And then it looks over, and he trips and grabs, and they hug,
And
they
he's
embrace,
like,
and
Stark,
he
I
starts
don't wanna
crying.
go.
He's like, Stark, I don't want to go. Stark, Mr. Stark, please, I don't want to go. And oh shit, man, fuck.
Existence is pain.
Dude, Groot, Rocket lost Groot
that was
for a
another
second
one.
time.
That was another one I was
Groot.
gonna bring up. That
Dude.
hit me a bit.
Dude, Rocket is the only Guardian left.
Oh my god, you're right. Wow.
Rocket's the only Guardian left.
That's crazy, yeah. And that's good. I mean, what I'll say is, I think Rocket has had a really good fucking character arc throughout the 3 movies he's
I
been
agree.
in. And I think I like that.
You a professional asshole or what?
But no, he's great. And like the sort of how he goes with Thor, how he acts like, yeah, I want to go see the cool weapons, and then he points out that you're scared of, you just.
Oh, I
don't
love
wanna
that
go where
line. He's so
Thanos
much. He's
is.
like, yeah, Star-Lord's like, by the way, he whispers to him, he's like, by the way, Rocket, I know you're only going with Thor because that's where Thanos isn't.
yeah.
And Rocket's just like, well, I'm your
No,
captain,
Rocket
so whatever,
is a bloody
cheeky
great
quip.
character.
Oh, so good. Bradley Cooper is so fucking good as Rocket, man.
Absolutely.
Bradley Cooper is. I forget it's Bradley Cooper every time.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah. Oh, man, that whole.
Oi, you speak Groot? Yeah, they taught it on Asgard. It was an elective.
So of all that team of like Stark's crew, is Stark the only one who doesn't fade away?
No, Nebula is still there.
Nebula, right? Well, yeah. Can she
Nebula
fade away if
sits
she's
down.
a robot?
I don't know. Well, yeah, she's consciousness, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, she sits there and she's like, he did it. He did it.
Yeah. And the Strange fades away.
Oh no! What?
Fucking.
And then it pays off.
Isn't his last line like there was no other way? So I'm thinking there's got to be some sort of fucking end game here.
Yeah,
and
he pays off.
What I'll say is, like, surely not all of these people are dead.
No, they'll come.
I feel
back.
like
Most
a fair
of them will probably
chunk
come back.
might be. But
I don't know. I think if you can bring some of them back, that people will be like, why not bring all of them back? I don't know. We'll have to see how it shakes up.
Don't know. But
I
it's
guarantee they've
interesting 'cause
already written it.
didn't
Well,
the-
they've shot it. Of course, they've
Yeah.
shot it. What am I saying?
Didn't-
It's in
didn't-
post production.
Like, didn't the Russos say that no one was going to be resurrected? Didn't they say like everyone who dies is not coming back?
I don't recall that. I highly doubt that. How's James Gunn going to make another fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
No, but
He
like
did
it
say
could've
the
been
roster
bullshit,
would be
but I
drastically
swear they
changed.
said something to that effect.
I don't know. You keep talking, and I'm just going to look it up quickly.
Oh, don't leave
But,
me talking. I'm not the expert. All right. Yeah, but that I didn't like that. That ending really fucking knocked me for a loop.
Yeah.
Fucking.
And then it ends. Something I picked up on the second viewing. Halfway through the movie, they're like, Thanos, what's your end game here? And he's like, I just want to. And Thanos goes, well, I just want to sit in a cottage on a hill and watch the sun rise on a cleansed world. And that's exactly how it ends. And Thanos smiles, and the movie ends.
And that's the photo shot. Thanos smiling like my man won.
Something I really wanted to see. I was like, oh yeah, keep going. Sorry.
The final shot of the Avengers, like Cap just sort of sitting there in Bucky's ashes, like, oh god, like no one knows what to do, and we've never ended an MCU film like this. It's fucking really, really dark ending, and like just the Russos have a fucking set of nuts on them.
I can't find anything to do with this. No, the only thing that comes up is Russos say nobody will ever play Tony Stark besides Robert Downey Jr. That's all I see.
Yeah, fair enough. But surely but Thanos has the time gem, so I don't know how they do that. So I guess the people who are got to come into play here are Ant-Man and Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so the credit scene, I was actually thinking about this. I'm like, man, I'd like to see what's happening with the general public right now. And then we cut to the end credit scene. There's only one of them, by the way.
Wait, fucking cheeky bastards. In the middle of the credits, the title comes up. Yeah. The music swells and fades, and it's like time for the mid-credit scene. And then the credits just continue, and everyone's like, you cheeky fuckers.
Yeah. But the last credit scene, you hear Sam Jackson's voice, and I'm like, yes.
And then it's him and fucking Hill, and I'm like, yes. And then they both fade away, and I'm like, no.
Well, settle down. So they're driving, and a car drives straight into them, and they're like, and she's like, oh, there's things going over on Wakanda. What the fuck's happening? He's like, bigger than New York, and she's like, yeah, like 8 times bigger. They hop out, and he's like, call a code red. People are fucking evaporating. He looks over, like, Maria Hill is like gone. It shows
the ramifications this is having on the world.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and a helicopter obviously being piloted by someone who evaporated blows up into a building. People are dying. Someone fades in the background. Nick Fury's like, code red. Fuck this. He picks up a thing and presses a button, and then he's like, oh,
Maria
mother
fades away first, and then motherfucker, that was cheeky.
And then we zoom in on this transponder, and it's like sent, beep 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 beep, and then it comes up with the Captain Marvel logo.
Dude, that whole time, me and my roommate was next to me were like, Hawkeye.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the world's ending. Thanos has got the gauntlet. Who should we call? The guy who's pretty good at bow and arrows.
Dude, I'm not mad that Hawkeye wasn't in it, but there were a few times where I'm like, I just want Hawkeye to show. Like, I know he's not.
What the fuck would he have done?
No, I know he's not going to do anything, but it would just be comforting to see him.
I know.
It would just make me feel nice inside.
But I feel like something's gonna happen. I feel like Hawkeye's family is gonna bite this, and that's why he comes back.
Opening shot of Avengers 4. Fucking Hawkeye and his family are eating dinner at the table, and they all fade away.
Don't. Oh, fuck. I reckon Hawkeye's going to be having some trouble too. I reckon Hawkeye's going to be having some trouble too, because he's going to be like, I should be out helping my friends. They're fighting someone, and I reckon she's going to be like, they can fucking do it by themselves. You know, they're the Avengers. You're retired now, and then they start fading away like that.
Oof.
Oh, shit. Imagine only half the universe fades away and he loses everyone. Those odds are...
Yeah, or one, like, me and my roommate would just spitball on scenarios for that to happen and be brutal. He was just like, he's talking to his wife in bed, and then he rolls over, and then he turns back around and she's gone. And I'm like, fuck, man, you're an evil person.
Wait, he's given her the diddling all the town. He's like, I'm the man! Closes his eyes to finish, and then he looks up and she's gone, and he's done on the bed, and he's like, what the shit?
You can't do that.
No. Dude, if Ant-Man loses his daughter, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh no, you can't do that.
I don't know.
Very interested in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I guess, is that going to be set before Infinity War?
I think it takes place directly after Civil War. Because he's still got the bracelet on, and I think... and this is 2 years after Civil War, and they're putting the bracelet on him, so I guarantee this is way before Infinity War.
So is that going to have ramifications on the universe and Infinity War? Like, what?
Maybe the end, but I don't think so.
Is it going to be a silly, fun Ant-Man movie, or is it going to be, like, really tying in with what just went down? I don't know.
I have no fucking clue. I'd say by the end of it, maybe by the end of it, he goes subatomic and goes in time or something. I don't know. But I do have to say, I think Strange's play was...
Yes.
So, first of all, Strange was never going to give up the Time Stone. He says it multiple times. He's like, I'll let you and Peter die before I give up the Time Stone. And I think, since he has this undying love for not giving it up...
he doesn't want Stark to die.
Yeah, I think the only time he ever saw them winning was when he went against himself and gave up the time stone, because that is the only time Thanos doesn't kill. So in every single universe, in every single situation, Strange is like, no, not giving you the time stone, and Stark bites it because Thanos kills him.
Yeah.
And I think there's only one time out of 14 million that Strange would break his promise, and that one time is the only time Stark would be left alive. So I think he saw the only way that they could win was to keep Stark alive. So he just did whatever he could to keep Stark alive.
What do you think Stark's role in this is?
In the next one, I
like,
wouldn't have a clue, to be
why would
honest.
Stark have to be alive to fix this?
I don't know, but it's the only reason I can come up with. It's the only thing that came out of giving Thanos the time stone. The only thing that came out of that was that on that island is that on that planet.
Surely Strange can't be dead. Spider-Man can't be dead. Black Panther can't be dead.
Well, they're filming a Spider-Man sequel in like 6 months.
Dude, they contract other movies, so like, I mean...
Dude, I love how it's like, oh yeah, everyone has died. I read a news report like a day before Infinity War. Spider-Man Homecoming sequel is going to be globe-trotting.
Yeah, so I guess knowing that takes away a little bit from the brutality of it, but it was still pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, they certainly went for it. So
what was your favorite scene in the movie? I think mine...
God.
I don't know. I loved the battle on Titan. I loved the very end when Thanos is the whole bit with Thanos coming to Wakanda and then him all the way to him snapping his fingers. And I will say the bit where they go find the quest for the Soul Stone. I loved all three of them.
I don't even know. Like I couldn't tell you. It all just blended together as one brilliant package.
Yeah, it did.
Like the fact that there were no...
I love the more
there were no bad
Strange
scenes, and I don't know if there... I don't know if there are any specific... I mean, I'm sure there were specific standout scenes. I'm trying to think of some... I mean, I loved everything.
Soul Stone journey.
I loved everything with Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Their battles were probably my favorite battles of the movie. Whenever Thor fight... I loved the scene of Thor crafting the axe. That was really exciting.
Oh, yeah. You were supposed to protect us. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got to watch it again before I yeah. I'm not the Marvel expert you are, and you have seen it twice.
I have,
but I'm on a bit of a high. Fuck, it is like 2 a.m. Oh well, fuck it. I'm skipping class tomorrow morning because of this shit. But I guess if we're just about is there anything we're not done talking about Infinity War, but is there anything else you want to mention about the film or speculation?
Talk, that's about it for me. I just can't. I think. Well, we've seen set photos where they go back in time. And I just want to know. I literally have no clue, dude. I have no clue.
Do you have any sort of wish list for what you want to see happen?
I
mean, it's gonna happen.
I want to see more of.
I want to see the original Avengers team up one last time in battle.
The one, I want to see, and I want to see them interact like a team, like they were in the first one. So if I had a wish list, I'd say I want to see more of Thanos kicking ass and not just him sitting in a house.
Yeah,
and I want to see the Avengers team up. That's a really good one.
And I want some heartfelt stuff between Cap and Tony. I want them to make amends.
Yeah.
I mean, they've probably already made amends. I mean, Steve called him, but I want to see them interact and, you know.
Steve only called him if there was a threat. Oh, Steve gave him a phone if there was a threat. And remember, Tony didn't even call him. It was Bruce.
I wish I could have seen a bit more between Steve and Bucky, though, because that is, I think, one of the most
I agree, but
relationships of the franchise.
I really agree, but I also think that they met and a fight fucking started. They had as little time as we did.
Yeah. But I'm not saying like it didn't make sense for the movie or anything. I'm just saying selfish me would have liked to see something like that. But
but again,
I think despite the fact that Cap wasn't the MVP here, he's still probably my favorite character and the one I'm most emotionally connected to.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite MCU
from their
character.
journeys.
Yeah.
Just the way, from his humble beginnings as a young little skinny boy in Brooklyn, and then he's just a good boy.
He's such a sweetheart. Oh, line where he says to Groot, "I am Steve Rogers." Oh,
I love that. Like he sort of puts his hand to his like chest
no judgment at all.
So
he just
sincere.
sees this fucking tree. Like he's a human. He's seen some aliens before, but never a fucking talking tree. And no judgment passed at all. No judgment passed.
And he's like, Steve doesn't know that's all he can say. Steve just thinks he's being friendly and greeting you.
Yeah.
He's like, I am Steve Rogers. I'm like, fuck yeah, you go, Steve Rogers.
Right? Oh, so
Captain
sweet.
America. But surely one of Bucky and Falcon comes back if they end up replacing him.
Oh, yeah.
But,
and I do have to say...
But that ending was a brilliant move because it just throws everything out the window. I mean, sure, a lot of them are probably going to come back. But because of that ending... No one's going to be able to predict shit. We don't know what the fuck is going to happen. And that is, like, they've done a very good job setting up what's to come.
People have said this before,
and that's great because, this is the big movie they've been building to. It's the movie they've been building to and stuff, but we're not done yet. It doesn't feel like a conclusion, which is cool because I don't want this shit to end.
But also, it could be seen as a conclusion in the way of... Like Thanos's journey for the Infinity Stones is done. The Infinity storyline is done.
Yeah.
He's collected the gems. He's used the gauntlet. He's done with the stones. He doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah, but it still feels like shit's only beginning.
Oh, I agree. Thanos is going to be used more, but I feel like the Infinity storyline is like done. Well, they're probably going to need the stone again.
This is where I'm coming from. What I'm invested in is the heroes and the Avengers. So Thanos' Infinity storyline is dumb, but that's not what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is what are my heroes going to do? What are these characters going? What happens next for them? And
see, we had slightly
Thanos is
different.
Around, but I'm not sitting here like, what is Thanos doing next? I'm sitting here like, what's going to happen to Steve? What's Tony going to do? Like, what's Doctor Strange's plan? Like, that's what I'm here for.
See, we had different favorites. My favorite storyline in this was Thanos' quest for the Infinity Stones, which is why I'm like, I can't wait to fucking see what Thanos does next.
I guess this is a good lead into what we're going to do now. Done with our spoilers. So instead of a traditional top 5, I just figured like before this has already gone way too long, but fuck it, we have to. Well, we've done nearly an hour on spoilers, so hopefully people are satisfied. We've spent almost half the movie's length talking about the movie. Yay.
Sweet.
So in lieu of a traditional top 5 this week, since we haven't specifically singled out which characters were the MVPs, but it was great to think about because there are a lot of people get their chances to shine. But we thought we'd just rank our personal top 5 favorite characters of Infinity War. So this isn't. If it was our favourite characters, the whole MCU, Cap would just be number 1. But we're talking about who was the best in this movie, who shined, who did we love the most, who... there's no specific criteria, but who we thought was our favourites, who we enjoyed the most in Infinity War. So, we've just made our own top 5s. We don't know them. Again, spoilers here. You're fucked for the whole video, for the whole podcast if you haven't seen it. So, do you want me to start or you want to start? Or
do your...
Alright, so couple honorable mentions. I mean, if I went through everyone, I'd be here forever. But couple I want to single out. The Guardians, all of them. Star-Lord had a lot to do. Gamora was a big part of Thanos' fucking storyline. Rocket was fantastic. I don't know if I could put any of them up into the top 5, but all 5 Guardians I thought were a standout. Also, Scarlet Witch and Vision, almost put them in the 5.
Nice.
They were one of the most emotionally resonant plot threads throughout the movie, and Elizabeth Olsen was fucking fantastic in the scene where she's killing him. She was so great.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I guess I'll give you my number 5. The character again could probably easily be, and I made this like right after I saw the movie, so I don't know if this is like accurate, but it could have easily been Scarlet Witch and Vision. But my number 5 is Spider-Man. I fucking love Spider-Man. His death was super emotional. He was a lot of fun. He had a lot of great lines. He grew as a character. Hanging out with Tony, he came up with some good plans. Like he's not just. He's sort of a kid and he's been thrust into a bigger situation than he's ever been thrust into, but he fucking holds his own and he's smart and he's brave and I loved him.
Your power pales in comparison to mine. Yeah, but the kid's seen more movies.
Yes.
I have to say, honorable mentions for me would be a lot of the Guardians. I mean, Groot didn't have much to do, but that Stormbreaker bit was cool. Star-Lord was so good. He was really emotionally resonant.
And
too
who'd
when
you
he's
say
bashing
before
Thanos.
Star-Lord?
Groot.
Groot, right, yes, nice.
Rocket, really good too. Drax, really funny. They're all a package. Spider-Man, I really love Spider-Man. He was so funny, and his death hit me the hardest, even more than Bucky, who I'm probably more invested in. And I want to have a quick shout out to Ebony Maw. He was my favourite of the three, favourite of the four. Yeah. And I thought he was easily the most compelling, even though he died in like the first half an hour. I thought he was easily the most compelling. Most funny, most backstory. He was the only one in Thanos' backstory. So he's been there a while, obviously, and Thanos asks about him directly. And then my number 5 is going to be Scarlet Witch. I think her relationship...
Easily switched with my 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, my number 1 honorable mention is Spider-Man. So, but Scarlet Witch is so... I think it was really bolstered by her relationship with Vision. Like in the Civil War, I'm like, man, this is a really cute.
She's been
I
a
really like these two
great
together.
character,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah, so good in Age of Ultron, and you get a hint of their relationship.
When her and
there.
Quicksilver were announced, I would have never expected this for her. So it's really cool.
You see Vision save her in Age of Ultron, and that starts in Civil War. They're kind of flirty, and then in this, it just feels so good. Like you don't think an android and a witch would be so good together, but you see them, and they're just natural. So cute. It really does. It doesn't feel forced at all. They
needed that opening scene in Scotland of them sort of talking it through, because that really, you needed that to make the ending work and make it powerful.
Absolutely, yes. The Scarlet Witch, and that end scene where Vision's like, "I love you," and she's like, "I love you too," and she has to pull it out of him. She was so fucking good. And then as well, when she comes in, she saves them all from the buzzsaws, and he's like, "Where was she up there the whole time?" Like, yeah, she's so good.
Yeah,
right, you go.
All right, my number 4 is Thanos. I won't talk that much because it's probably Jaren's number 1, but Thanos is fantastic. I've just got some heroes above him because, I don't know, I feel more connected to them and I love watching them. But Thanos was fantastic. One of their best villains so far. Maybe their best, I don't know. Jaren.
I just want to say I too am way more connected to the heroes. Obviously, I've seen them like 19 times. But my number 4 is going to be Gamora. I am really invested in Thanos' storyline, and Gamora was a through line to that. You know, we've got hints of their relationship before. You stole away my favorite daughter, Gamora, and but you know, when as soon as that first scene when she's like the whole time I knew Thanos, then you see their backstory. It's so obvious the second time around. It's like, man, they're hinting to these two so much. It was always going to happen that he would have had to do something with her, that she was going to bite it, and when she kills him, and when she thinks she's killed him, he's tricking her with the reality stone. She starts crying, and he's like, "Is that sadness I sense, Gamora?" Like she loves him a little bit. I think she was crying after she killed him.
I don't think she loves him, but it's still a massive part of her life. So I guess
she killed him, and she was crying.
He is her real only father figure.
Yeah, because he murdered her other one. But yeah,
yep.
but
she obviously hated him.
Yeah. Well. It's very complicated. She cried when he died, and you don't cry out of hatred.
Yeah,
and remember,
I think she's just a bit mixed up.
Also, he can sense things across the galaxy, and he's like, "Is that sadness?" But he might have been taunting her, but you know that is what he says. But no, I really loved Gamora, and then her death really hit me hard as well. I'm like, fuck, did they just kill a Guardian? And that's when I knew that anything could happen. Or even though Loki and that had already been dead, I'm like, shit, if they can kill Gamora, they can kill fucking anyone. Because I always knew Loki was going to bite it.
Yeah. All right. My number 3 is Tony Stark.
Jinx, Yomi Soda.
Your 3? Good. He's bloody great. I talked about him pretty recently. This is, I think, maybe my favorite Stark in any movie. I mean, maybe Iron Man 1, but he, totally. I've been making fun of him all week, and he totally just reversed all that. He was great. It just reminded me that despite all the fuck ups he's had, he is a hero.
Definitely, yeah.
That's what I'll leave
This
it.
is probably my third favourite time I've seen him in a movie behind Iron Man 1 and Civil War. But he was... I really loved him. And, you know, a lot of these emotional beats came from him. The fact that he just sacrifices himself so willingly to save everyone when he's like, kid, this is a one-way ticket. I knew what I was getting up to. I don't think you do. And you find out that he wants a kid, you know. He's like, oh, I had a dream where we had a kid. And he's like, we're getting married soon. And then he gets up there and it kind of hit me when she's like, Tony, please come back. Tony, don't, you're not on that spaceship. Come back. We're losing her, boss. Tony, gone.
Metaphor.
And it's really quite sad. And the thing that proves such a good character, he gets stabbed a little bit, through a little bit of the gut, and everyone's like, no, you can't fucking do that. Like, it's the amount, like, you think of him like a dick, but but he started this 10 years ago, man. The amount of investment you have in this guy, comes out when you see him almost die. You realize how much you love him.
And that's what this movie did. It made me realize how much I really do love him.
Yeah. All right, your number 2?
All right, so that would mean that one of my top 2 is not in your top
Vice versa.
top 5.
Oh, no, not vice versa.
Yeah, because I've already had Thanos and you've got Thanos coming up, so...
Yeah, but you could have one of mine.
I don't have Gamora, so because she was an honorable mention, so...
Yeah, but I mean, you could have my number 2 in your 1 or 2, so mine is safe.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've already had Thanos.
Yeet. Oh, yeah, true. So I guess one of mine's not on your list. Cause you had
what, if you're 1 or 2? Well,
yeah.
How do you know?
Because Thanos is one of them, and...
Yeah, so Thanos is already... Oh, yeah, good call.
I don't think you've said one of mine. Who's your top 5? Is it Scarlet Witch, Gamora, Stark?
Yeah.
So yeah,
right,
one
of yours.
You have not said either of my top 2, so one of them's not in your 5. That's interesting.
Cool.
And my number 2 is Thor.
Ragnarok. Soda.
Oh, so Thor.
I fucking loved him.
Ragnarok turned Thor into the fucking man. I've always loved Thor, but
and he's continued. Being
it was
the
just
man.
because of his first 2 movies. I was never super on board with
I
him.
really enjoy his first movie.
He's always been awesome. Chris Hemsworth is the man, and he always brings it. But Ragnarok turned him into such a lovable bloke, and they recognised that he's silly. And this movie kept the essence of that with it, without sacrificing, you know, the seriousness, because he's gone through a fucking lot, and you know, he was just one of the best things to watch in this movie. He really impacted that final battle. His powers were awesome. His whole interplay with Rocket was bloody great. I loved the shit of him going to craft his axe. This is all stuff I've already mentioned, but he just had some of the most memorable scenes. He was one of the most likable people on screen, and again, they developed his character.
The thing you have to commend as well is that when he's one of the most enjoyable people to watch in this movie, you have to know all 3 of the people he talks to on his journey are all CGI characters.
Yeah.
All 3 people. So he's mainly just talking to himself or someone sitting in a little green suit the whole journey, and he's still so charismatic, so funny, bounces off them so well, and his powers were like truly awesome in all meaning of the word. It was amazing to watch. That'd be quite a sight. And yeah, I when he's like, and he got his, I thought it was a bit of a cop out to give him an eye back, but
yeah, I didn't love that, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I did like the bit though where Groot's like, I would have watched that first. I had to hide it in my. Oh, we're here. yeah. But I didn't love that he'd get his.
I love the
straight
full
back,
circle of Rocket stealing shit. He's not gonna know where his eye is.
Dude, he asked Winter Soldier for his arm. Yes. Me and Jacob talked to each other last week, and we're like, if Rocket asked to buy Winter Soldier's arm at any point in this movie, it's going to be the best movie of all time.
It's not the best movie of all time, but I stand by that being fucking amazing. He was like,
how much is the gun? It's not for sale. What about the arm? No, I'm going to get that arm.
Yeah, I got to get that arm.
Yeah. I loved it.
I unashamedly, that's one of my favorite fucking running jokes in the whole franchise.
Same.
Rocket wanting people's body parts. I love it. Not gonna know. Fucking legendary. So yeah, Thor was bloody great. All right, so your number one's Thanos. My number one surprised me. I don't fully know why, but it's Doctor Strange.
Really?
I loved Doctor Strange in this movie.
Wow.
Fucking... Wow. I don't know. I was just drawn to him, and I think it was just his fucking drive.
He's so good.
He was switched on, man. Out of everyone there, it was like he was just driven to protect. He knew what. I don't know how to describe it, but fucking opening scene of him one battling, and his powers were just expanded upon, and he was a fucking master of the mystic arts. He was as powerful. Supreme. He was as powerful as Doctor Strange should be, and some of the shit... Dude, when he fucking splits himself into hundreds of Doctor Stranges, I was like, yeah!
I love that bit because they went full Doctor Strange. It's not some dude using some orange portals. He went full weird. I was like, oh yes, that's what you want.
He was one of when he just grows a bunch of arms. He's one of the driving forces of that battle, creating portals for everyone. And
without him, they would have died instantly.
Yeah, he was he was so smart talking about his plans. His whole thing with giving Thanos. What I'll say is, at the end of the movie, I'm like, out of everyone, I'm like, I want to know what's fucking up with what's Doctor Strange thinking,
well, what does he know? He knows that this is the only way.
And just I love he was driven. He wasn't he could have easily done it, but he wasn't making jokes. He wasn't fucking. He was seriously out to fucking save humanity.
Oh, and I want to say as well, when they're all talking on Titan and you see him in the background, hovering off the ground, doing his praying. That is exactly how he is in the Civil War comic, which I've read 3 times. Nice. Whenever he's on, and whenever he's on, he's in Antarctica, and he's just sitting there hovering, and I'm like, that's Doctor Strange, man.
Strange machine, bro.
Sitting there, yeah, he's sitting there looking at all possibilities and shit. That's the Doctor Strange I fucking love. That's the Strange I know from the comic books, and I say from the comic books, but I'm not an avid comic book reader. I've read my fair share of Marvel comic books and DC comic books, but every time I've seen Doctor Strange in maybe 5 or 10 comic books, and every time I see him, he's doing weird shit like he did, or he's meditating, and that's the Strange I know, that's the Strange I love, and that's the Strange I got, and I was so fucking happy. Strange would be an honorable mention for me. He's
just throughout the movie and after it, I was just drawn to him. I loved him. I loved what he stood for.
That's awesome.
And just
good
on
you.
The basis of this movie, I really enjoyed him. Thanos.
Thanos for me was the character I was drawn to from the very start. When you see him looking out the window and he turns around, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know, man. Josh Brolin's performance translated so well through that, more than anyone, better than anyone's ever done it, but who wasn't named Andy. He was so fucking good in his motion capture, his little face twitches. I love how he's a villain, and he's so fucked up. He thinks the best thing to do for the world is to destroy half its population, because that's what happened with his population. They got overpopulated and destroyed themselves, and they called him mad when he told them how to save it, and he was right. So he thinks that that's what he has to do, and he is fully convinced that's what he has to do, so much that he kills Gamora over it, the one person he truly loves. When you find out that he really, really loves her, true love, and he starts crying and he drags her, and it was so poetic because that's how he held her hand in the backstory. He grabs her hand and drags her
after he's killed her, when he's just sitting in the water and you see the moon behind him. That was ooh. Oh,
I know. And dude, this is, I one of my favorite villains in the MCU is Baron Zemo. I think he's so underrated. He's one of my favorite villains because, he's like, stronger men have tried to beat the Avengers and failed, so I beat them this way. And, he beats the Avengers. He breaks them up. And I love that. But I also love seeing a 15-foot tall monster fucking throw these guys around like they're cotton candy.
Like the old-fashioned way.
And it's exactly what I wanted to see, man. I've got my laptop background is fucking Thanos yeeting the moon. And what I wanted to see was Thanos fuck some people up.
Even when he throws the moon, it kind of looks like he's doing a whip.
He's like, you're right.
He really is yeeting the moon.
Yeah, when he does that. Oh, and Stark, if you hurl one more moon at me, I'm gonna lose it. But and everything I wanted to see from Thanos, I saw, And he won. He's too strong for them. And just, I think what makes him so dangerous and so compelling to me is that he's not, his mind isn't clouded. His mind isn't foggy. His mind is clear and he knows what he wants to do. He knows how to get it done. He's a man of conviction. He's a man of, he gets people to do his own work for him but that's because he's trying to do something on his own. And dude, something that all 4 of his Black Order tried to do, like get a stone, they both failed. He did it with ease within minutes. Yeah. Within a 5-minute fight, he got each stone against 10 Avengers in that last one? He's fucking fighting like fucking 10 of them.
He's a machine. He's a
dude,
machine.
6 of these guys took down Ultron with ease, and I don't know. And also something that I really thought was nice with Thanos, again, going back to the Gamora thing, was when he realizes that something's there guarding the Soul Stone, he holds Gamora back and he protects her with his gauntlet hand and he steps forward, and it's like, he really does fucking
and then he
love this girl. And it's such a contrast to how he despises fucking Thing. Remember when she's like, you should have killed me, and he's like, it would have been a waste of parts.
Oh, I loved that line, yeah.
Literally every time, people all around me are like, oh, jeez. Nah, Molly looked at me and she's like, oh, fuck, that's really brutal. Good. Yeah, she's like, Molly was like, jeez, that's brutal. And that's after she saw Loki got choked to death. She's like, when he's like, you would have been a waste of parts, she's like, oh, jeez, settle down. That's fucking harsh. I don't know. I think he might be my favourite MCU villain, man. I think he might be.
In talking TV as well, or just movies?
I don't know. TVs. I don't think that TV shows are canon, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
I think they have cute little nods, and I used to believe. No, I don't think you beat Fisk. But I used to think that the Netflix shows were canon. And our friend, the local dickhead Blake, used to be like, "Nah, they're not canon, man." I'm like, fuck off, man. The incident is mentioned like twice, man. It's canon.
But maybe the local dickhead was right all along.
I mean, in Jessica Jones season 2, they do mention the raft, but I mean, they're fucked now. Either they kill off half their characters and have them melt, or they have to admit it's not canon.
Yeah.
So they're
trying pretty
they're
hard
between a wall and a half place now.
But
They're like the little brother who always wants to go to the shops with the big brother, and he's like, "No, I don't want you to come." And they're like, "Oh, please, come on, please!" Like these Netflix shows are like, "We are connected, and the movies are like, "Fuck off, we're not." Which sucks. Daredevil is so fucking good.
In terms of MCU villains, I didn't even know who my favorite was before I saw this. Like,
oh god, mine was probably Zemo or Ultron. Or Loki.
I mean, like, the people...
we did a list, a top 5.
Yeah, I don't remember it, and it
was Loki for both of us.
But,
yeah, true.
The people floating up in the upper echelon in no particular order are, like, Loki, Winter Soldier in the movie The Winter Soldier.
Dude, the Russos are so good at villains.
Yeah. Vulture, fucking Zemo and Killmonger are probably the top tier for me. And Thanos definitely enters that top tier with ease.
Yeah, I have to say as well, every time I saw Thanos, he was so like awesome that it felt like I was seeing him for the first time. Like every time he would walk, they would always do that low angle with his fucking. Yeah. He's talking to Gamora at one point when she's in his throne room, and there's a shot from the back of him. I'm like, he's so wide. This dude is massive. He's like
puts Ben Swallow to shame.
Legit, Ben Swallow would pee his tiny little pants, man. Oh, dude, and and Thanos is like a cheeky bastard too. Remember when he makes Gamora think he's dead? She like fucking kills him, and I was sitting in the theater. I'm like,
when he makes Quill's gun shoot bubbles.
Yeah, and then he makes her knife turn to bubbles when she tries to kill herself.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like when Thanos is like, you think too much of him, he's not going to kill you. And then she's like, go on, do it, you won't. And Quita's like, I'm sorry. And Peter Quill pulls the trigger, and Thanos is like, wow, I like you. And then he leaves him. I love how he can, because he can do things like leave Thor and Star-Lord and Tony alive, because his goal is to eliminate half of humanity, not everyone. Yeah, and he wants to leave people he respects.
Strange.
You know?
It's like he thinks he's saving the world, I guess.
But because overpopulation killed his planet, so that's what.
I guess that's his thing. But
dude, I mean, overpopulation. It's funny because it's killing our world right now.
It just seems strange that he would be interested in saving humanity.
Well, he thinks he's his hero of his own story, man. No, he does like him. He thinks he's the hero of his own story, and he wants to save the universe. He's not some I'm gonna destroy everything like some Dormammu Galactus kind of cut. Like he's not like I'm gonna kill everything and eat everything. He's like no, I'm gonna go to each world and I'm gonna save it.
He doesn't. Yeah, he.
Remember when he goes to Gamora and he's like, that planet. Right now, everyone is eating. Everyone has full bellies. The crops have never been brighter. The sun's never been brighter. The crops have never been bigger. Everyone's happy. And Gamora's like, it's because you wiped half them out. And he's like, no, I saved them. Their planet is so much better off now.
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean, it is better off, but at what cost? Like, you have to. I quit. Yeah.
You can't do that.
But you can't. But
I totally get you. Fucking, he's Yeah, and that's the thing. He's not sitting there like, I mean, he does a bit, but he's not fully just like taunting the Avengers and saying, "I will destroy you." It's more like, I respect some of you lads, but you gotta go.
Yeah, well, he doesn't kill Thor, Star-Lord, or Tony because he likes them because they put up a fight.
Yeah, and what I like is
that's why he saved
when
Gamora.
He's fighting during most of the battles. It's not like a lot of superhero battles where they'll stop and fucking have a chat in the middle of it. They're just fucking fighting. Because Thanos is just like trying to achieve.
During that last one, all he wants is that stone.
In most of these, in a lot of these movies, the villain is interested in the hero. The villain is like, hey hero, I'm gonna fucking destroy you. In Thanos, the Avengers are just fucking inconveniences.
Yeah, the only reason Thanos talks to them during the fights are when they talk to him first. When he gets back on that planet, he's just looking around, looking for the Maw, looking for the stone, and Strange talks first, and he's like, "Well, I'm assuming the Maw's dead." Like he's straight to business, you know.
Yeah. So are we done?
Squidward. Yeah, I think so.
Squidward. Yeah, I mean, there's probably something we forgot, but I'd say we're done fairly well. I am exhausted.
I loved this movie so much. I'm glad I get to talk about it.
I was going to do schoolwork today, and I didn't, and I'm very behind. But I don't know how I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to be fucking dead. And for those listening, it's 2:30 a.m. right now, and I'm thinking of editing this tonight so I can get it up fucking as soon as possible. I don't know.
I do. So what did we learn today, Jacob?
Are you seriously going to fucking ask me that goddamn question?
I've got a couple. I'm just going to say first we learnt that for all of you who already knew and those who were new, Blake is the local podcast dickhead.
Sure.
That's straight up. And we also learnt that the Russos just fucking shaft giant rock creatures. They just love giving them the big finger, which is unfortunate.
I was actually trying to think of something about Korg.
They just give them the shaft.
I don't know. I'm too tired.
All right.
Have any witty repartee, but I'll say I had a really great time talking about this. It was cathartic. I think our discussion sort of opened a lot of things up. About the movie. It helped me understand it.
It helped me see some things too,
maybe learn from each other's perspectives and shit. And
definitely.
I'm glad we agree on it.
That shit about Doctor Strange when you were talking about how cool he was. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck yeah, he was awesome. Like, good.
I'm glad we're in the same ballpark on this. I'm glad we agree.
Oh yeah,
it would have been awkward if we
exactly.
didn't.
If this was another Ready Player One, this would have been a lot more awkward. But I don't know. That can make for interesting discussion as well. One of us gets pissed off.
Better than Ready Player One, anyway.
Easily.
Yeah, I don't know where it falls in my list for the year. I don't know. Have you got any inkling of where it falls in your MCU ranking?
At top 5, 100%.
I mean, top 4.
Maybe top 3 for me.
Top 4 for me.
We'll see.
I'm sitting here like, so Ragnarok is my third, and what I'm sitting here thinking is like, objectively, it may be a better film than Ragnarok, but I did not enjoy it as much as Ragnarok. But I don't know. I got to watch it again.
See, the thing for me is that I'm like, man, maybe I not have had much fun with it as I did with Guardians 1 or with Ragnarok. And I think about it, I'm like, this movie had the best bits of Ragnarok. It had the best bits of Guardians. It had the best bit of the Avengers. It has the best bits of fucking all this stuff. It has an amazing. It's like it's all of these movies.
It doesn't have Jeff Goldblum.
Well, you're not wrong. It doesn't have Jeff Goldblum. It does have his brother, but not Jeff Goldblum. But
so wait, what if those sort of like what are they called? Like him, those like what's their big?
Oh, the
there's five
elders.
of them, hey, the
The
elders. Like, would they come into play? Because aren't they some
I
of the
don't
only
know.
people capable
Well, I think-
of being more powerful
yeah.
than Thanos?
or a celestial like Ego.
Yeah, like is Stan
Yeah.
Lee an elder? Could he come into play?
Oh,
Dude,
no,
imagine that.
He's
Avengers
can
4,
you-
Stan Lee defeats Thanos.
Stan Lee can't stand there and take a photo with someone, man. He's not acting under those lights.
CGI him.
Oh, his fucking cameo was awesome too.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, haven't you guys ever seen a spaceship?
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
His Ragnarok
Fucking-
one's still the best. No, sorry, Guardians 2 one. Guardians 2 one is still the best.
Which
okay,
one's that?
before I was so rudely
that one.
interrupted, this
Yeah.
one time I was a janitor.
I love his Age of Ultron one. Pretty sure it's Age of Ultron where he's like he drinks heaps and then he's getting dragged away and he's like
Excelsior, yes, at the party. Well, Thor's got his
Yeah.
his
And
like
they're
Asgardian
you
liquor.
don't want to drink that, old man.
He's like, oh, this was not made for mortal men, and he's like, neither was Omaha Beach, Blondie. Come on, stop trying to scare us. Feed us the juice. And he's like, all right. And then, one of his mates is frozen still. He's like frozen upright with his eyes open, like frozen. One of them's dead on the floor, and then they're just carrying Stan Lee out.
Excelsior.
He got so drunk he broke the fourth wall. I love it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Definitely.
Yeah.
Not MCU, but I love the Deadpool one.
Oh yeah,
Give it up
chastity.
for chastity.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, and even Netflix have got their discount Stan Lee cameos. He's always on a bus or a newspaper or something in each season.
Yeah, but no, I reckon Guardian's probably still my favorite MCU movie. I know that for certain. That and probably Winter Soldier are my top tier, and Infinity War slides in somewhere in that top 4. But I have to watch it again to really know how I feel.
I would say 100% for certain for me now, though. My favorite MCU directors are the Russos, man.
Absolutely,
Those guys, their movies are
like they're running
like
the show.
James Gunn couldn't match himself with Guardians 1. But I think the Russos have maybe not matched himself in your eyes, but they've made 3 fucking fantastic top level movies in a row, and no one's been able to do that so far except for me, Joss Whedon. But
They're on top, man. They're running shit.
Yeah.
Like they.
Oh yeah, no, I'm so happy that they're doing 4. I wouldn't want anyone else, man. As long as they stay directing,
a lot of
and
the
as
time,
long as
with films that were being filmed like pretty in rapid succession, they'd often like get another director, but they're like, nah, let him do it because, and that's good. Yeah. It is good to have a sort of core crew guiding the story. I mean, bring a lot of directors for your standalones and stuff, but it's good. I'm glad to have these guys guiding the story.
And I also have to say, I give a big fucking thank you and commendation to Stephen Marcus and Christopher McFeely, man. Those guys.
I think it might be the other way around.
I think I might have got their names mixed up there.
McFeely,
yeah, that's it. But dude, the way that they wrote each character to be so funny, to have such good connection. Like I know that the Russos built the stories with them, but the way that it was written, the dialogue is so fucking good.
They've obviously like studied all the movies and probably communicated with each individual director, because none of the characters lose their essence. Even the ones who have never been in an Avengers film before still feel like them. When we're with the Guardians, it feels like a Guardians movie, but
I heard they consultated
but it never distracts
with Gunn,
from the tone
Waititi,
of the whole
like
thing.
a bunch.
Yeah, I think
the one thing that
there's a few directors that are sort of in their brain trust, like Waititi and Gunn and Scott Derrickson.
Peyton Reed's in there. Yeah, and Reed.
So I guess are they doing Doctor Strange?
I remember a couple of weeks ago, fucking Benedict Cumberbatch said it wasn't in the cards yet. Nothing was written. Nothing was contracted.
You better not be killed.
Oh god, no, I hope not. But I have to say, I don't. The one thing that makes me sad is that I don't think we'll see another MCU Taika Waititi movie. I'm not sure.
You don't reckon?
I don't know, man. I think
currently he's making some Hitler movie.
Well, I know that. I mean, I would have loved to see him do another Thor movie, but he had to do the fucking third one, didn't he? He couldn't have done 2 of them.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do another Thor movie at this point.
Yeah, I don't
with the
know.
way
I
the
heard some
universe
people
is.
say like, "Oh yeah, they mesh tones so well." Guardians felt like James Gunn. He felt like Scott Derrickson. And then someone's like, I think it was Jeremy Jahns, and he's like, "Yeah, but Taika Waititi's Ragnarok is still an anomaly. Nothing has ever felt like that." And I'm like, "No, Thor in this movie feels like he was ripped out of Ragnarok."
Yeah,
because that's his character.
But if Infinity War had felt like Ragnarok, it wouldn't have worked.
No fucking way.
The character fits the essence, but you can't change the tone of all of his.
Well, that's
scenes
all.
and shit.
That's all that carried over from Ragnarok too. That one character.
Like, oh yeah, I
Which is why.
fucking love Ragnarok, maybe even more than Infinity War. But if Infinity War was like Ragnarok, it would not have been as good.
Yeah, and dude, if Ragnarok had the tone of Infinity War, I don't think it would. It wouldn't be the same movie. We would have missed out on something
everyone's
amazing.
angry that fucking Ragnarok didn't have stakes and it's called Ragnarok, but it wasn't even dark. Look at what fucking happens after Ragnarok, dude. Ragnarok is the direct predecessor. Infinity War picks up exactly where Ragnarok fucking ends, and
Literally
it's
exactly.
the
Yeah.
dark, one of the darkest things the MCU has ever seen. So just
dude,
you wait, folks. Just you wait.
The opening Marvel logo has no music. That was haunting.
That was killed.
All
And
you hear
then
is
they put the 10
Yeah, we
in
need.
the
Wait, dude, one
studios.
thing though, how fucking late were the Guardians to that distress call, man? They were there like hours after. Like, dude, Bruce had gone to Earth and told Strange, and they'd had a fight with Ebony Maw and gone back to the Sanctorum. By the time the Guardians are like, "Oh yeah, we're almost there. We're gonna go help these guys." Like, dude, they've been dead for like a day.
I'm
But,
just
yeah.
about too tired to continue.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's the podcast. We had a couple questions on Twitter, but
I think we've gone for nearly 2 hours.
too tired to answer them at the moment. We'll get to them next week. But
You're
sorry,
fucked
guys,
if you
thanks for
haven't
asking
seen Infinity
anyway.
War, but you'd think a lot of our listeners would have seen it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, well this will be out on like the second or third day of Infinity
Yeah.
War, so at least go see the movie and then come see this. But I mean, if you hadn't seen the movie, you wouldn't be here right now anyway.
If we asked for message corner questions, sorry we didn't have time to get to them today. We'll try and get to them another time, but this is a big one. Oh my god, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah, sweet as, guys. All right, thank you very much. Chuck tell us what you thought about Infinity War. You know, link us to some reviews, whatever you want. Chuck a like, subscribe, share this podcast with a friend. That'd help a lot. Oh, definitely. I want to know who. Tell us your top 5 characters, because a lot of people who have different connotations with different characters. Oh, dude, so good, right? Wait, dude, when War Machine flew by and dropped all those bombs, I'm like, fucking damn!
Dude, War Machine
he was a beast.
Really good in that battle. War Machine did some fucking damage.
This is probably my favourite War Machine since Iron Man 2, to be honest. I mean, I really enjoyed Rhodey in Iron Man 2 when I rewatched it, and he hasn't been that... He was good in Civil War, actually, really good. But I think this might be my favourite Rhodey. Anyway, that's good. Enough thoughts. Talk about it later. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on whatever.
Oh yeah, I loved Infinity War. Jacob loved children.
And I'll just say, go see Unsane. Just came out here in Australia today. I loved it. It was bloody fantastic. They're both right up there as favourites of the year. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I'll be seeing it 4 more times this week. See you guys.
You've just listened to the Children of Film podcast.
Man, it sucks to be you.